Working soon. Gather around, people. How you doing? What's going on? Yeah. Hello. What's going on? Yeah. This is how we're doing. Getting ready. This is the sound of me eating rice cakes in the background. I'm inside my eating window. What do you expect? Oh, yeah. Look at you guys all showing up. Hi. Uh-oh. Hey, all right. This is what I get to stare at while they're messing around, doing the mess around, waiting for this thing to start. They have, so for those of you that don't know what I do while I'm waiting for this nonsense to begin every day is, and welcome to the show, and how are you? And thanks for dropping by, and we'll make this as fun and painless as possible. Although, from my other camera sources that I pull from to show what's going on at these briefings, Time Magazine, Washington Post, a couple other sites post this online, and they basically just turn their camera on kind of like C-SPAN and just let it run for a few minutes beforehand. But if I use their angle, I get a copyright strike because they'll play some subtle piece of music in the beginning or in the end or something like that, and it always gets me hit. So I use the White House's one because it's taxpayer funded, and they can't hit me with that. Okay, so while I'm watching this, waiting for them to go live with this, the other site, let's see if I can actually show that one. I don't know if it'll pop in or not. We'll see. Let's see. I'll just show it an instant of it, if at all possible, if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So this is theirs. This is what, like, one of the other sites, I think it's Time shows or whatever, and they just dangle. There's Fauci, there's Birx, there's a couple of business people there. Look at all these sparsely laid out folding chairs. Oh, are we starting soon? They're checking mics and stuff, I think. But anyways, hold on. Let me transition to this. I didn't transition to it. Beg your pardon. So that's what I see. This is what happens from the other site, right? That said, let me go back to the other site so I don't get a strike against this. done. That they just make them wait till the seats are full, and then out he comes. Can I read the comments? Yes, I can. I read them as they're going by on the side here, whatever. Noel, thank you very much. And how's Ireland? By the way, I just found out that some of the rescheduled KISS shows, when and if they go back on tour again, and how that's going to work out is anybody's guess. But one of the big launch shows is in Dublin, so it might be the time that I go to Ireland and take my son and go see KISS in Ireland. I think that would be good. So, yeah. And then we'll, catch a Sinead O'Connor show while we're in town, even though she hates herself in her show, but there you go. This could be this is how you do the Daily Show every day. I don't know why they put so much work into trying to make it look like normal. Honest to God. Thanks, Slick Chick. I try. It was a great French accent. It's true. One of my favorite Irish accent stories I've told it a couple times was from The Devil's Own, where Brad Pitt had to have an Irish accent, and Harrison Ford, when you've been working on your Irish accent, and he goes, "Yeah, I've been practicing it quite a bit, doing it almost every day." And Harrison Ford goes, "Okay, cool, let's hear some." Gene Simmons likes me, Ireland. Will Donnie outdo himself? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to guess there's some certain defensiveness because there's been a ton of pushback. It may be one of those days where he does he rolls back. Yeah, and Snatch, his accent was so bad they just decided to go with it. It's not English, it's not Irish. It's just pikey. Shit, man, call me Mickey. I need to have a shite. It'll be a good fight. Good fight. He goes down in the third. Would you like some sugar? No thanks, Turkish. I'm sweet enough. Reminds me of Tom Cruise's accent in Valkyrie. Oh, yeah. Now they can, yeah, that's true. They get, because they do this, ni hao. Hi, Herzog and Rubinsky. 好久不见. 你好吗? That's a long time no see in Chinese. Literally, if you don't know that, the phrase long time no see comes from, and our first dump into the tip jar goes to Espresso Strike. Thank you. Who is obviously wide awake and heavily caffeinated. So I appreciate that. I gotta turn this mic up. Sorry. They're just, look at this. They're just sitting out there. This was supposed to happen 49 minutes ago. Oh, here comes a photographer going to shoot through the glass. Like, do something. Or are they... She arranging some flowers so she can shoot through the flowers for some foreground pop? Is that what's going on? Or is there one real weird twig that's just driving her crazy? I pray's not on for 3 hours as well. Hope they don't get rained on. Actually, you like the cock wobble thing I started? Indeed. I have no more Chinese series to watch because I've watched them all. Yeah, well, start with every Jet Li film from 1981 on, and then every Donnie Yen movie over the last 6 years. You'll be good. I learned one of my my smoothest phrases in Chinese. I learned watching Donnie Yen in one of his movies. Thank you, Lisa Mi Amor. It was 我追的都是警察抓在路, which means I really feel like cops belong on the street. But it helped me with the fluidity of my Chinese. 我追的都是警察抓在路. It helped me get the roll of the words, because a little known fact about language, immersion is actually a lot more effective than direct study. And so the irony is all those movies you see where some dude is just among a bunch of, Chinese or Japanese people, like The Last Samurai or those kind of things, and you're like, Jesus, and, oh yeah, Mr. Magic, all of a sudden he can speak Japanese. And you're like, no, that's actually how people learn the fastest. And just by hearing it in the background, it helps immensely. So one of my strategies for learning a language when I do it is find a movie that I know that's been translated into that language that I know well, like an American film, it's usually a parallel track, and pick a movie from that genre that I like a lot that has an English translation that's been dubbed and subtitled, because all three are necessary. And what I do is I'll play the, in sort of order. I'll know the movie front to back in English, then I'll play it with the audio track and the subtitles of the language I'm trying to learn, and English subtitles, so I can track kind of what they're translating word by word as my head kind of goes, oh, it's this line, and it just helps sort of line up your mentality while you're doing it. And then take out the subtitles. So that's the three steps for the movie from that country. Then you take, a movie from your country, and then you take a movie from their country that you get to know, and you watch it dubbed. So you get the plot, you get the characters, you understand who's who. Then you watch it with their language and the subtitles, just like you did the other movie, like that. And then eventually you take off the English subtitles and just listen to it with that language. And those have been one of the most effective things as far as just developing a fluidity in your brain. So for the language. Now there's some female reporters at this one, right there, and right over way across on the other side. But it seems like there's okay, one black one and one white one. That's it. That's all the lady. He got so steamrolled yesterday. It was, Ip Man. Ip Man's a great movie. How you effing owe us for looking at this? No, you owe me for sitting through this every day and making it funny. Because somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to make it palatable. And that's what I'm doing. So there you go. When does Dingle Nuts come out? I have no idea. I'm dead serious. Look what he did. It's like straight up, thanks for subscribing, Danielle. It reeks of this last one out of the trailer ego that you see. Like the rest of the cast has to come to set before I will walk on set. You know that stuff? If Steve Mnuchin's there, I've got my glasses ready. We're ready to do this. Do you know HAL stands for IBM in 2001? It's 3 letters off. It stands for High Order Assembly Language, which is the computer language that they use to create AI, which is where my name comes from. So when people ask me what's my name short for, it's short for High Order Assembly Language. There you go. By the way, I got a response from Ryan Reynolds today. It was adorable. Did you see on Twitter? Let's see. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see if is it live on there? Do you see? Do you see? Did you see the doctor and me? Did you see? Okay. Yeah, there it is. We're live. Good. Okay. Everything's working. I always have to check everything because now I got so many things operating all at once. But I gotta say, it's looking better. I've got to work on the colorization of this particular camera. Is a little pinkish. It's very weird. I've got to work on that. But I was trying to get the green screen better, so I was messing with the image and I look I look peachy, so I got to fix that. The female reporter that was on yesterday was awesome. Indeed. She was from ABC, I think. Yeah. Yeah, she's not there today. Just so you. Yeah. This is so pitiful today. Put your Patreon. Oh, thanks. Thanks for reminding me. I don't know that got saved from yesterday. I made one, and then it just didn't. I don't know where it went. It's in the yeah. I appreciate that. I will do just that. Okay, so we'll add, and we add an image, and we choose. Oh God, is he coming out? We don't know. Add a source. Okay, excellent. We'll put this here. And then we add a text. I'm really getting the hang of this piece by piece. I figured out yesterday what was missing from my... So I had this whole setup going. I'm like, this is usually kind of like a gamer throughput. And I was like, well, the high quality gamer throughput on this software should actually work really well for Skype and other stuff, better than most, because games actually at the frame rate that they have and stuff. Look, I'm talking to Mr. SATs. The frame rate necessary to do that is incredibly high compared to like what people are doing as far as Skype interviews and stuff like that. So I started diving into Streamlabs OBS to try and see if that would help me carry a better signal. And then I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it to work with gaming of all the things. And because in the PC version of Streamlabs, there's a game capture button. Just simply like add your game capture device or card to the whole thing and then position it and do all this stuff. And it doesn't show up in the Mac one. It just has NDI as another thing. You have to search through all the menus and find where it showed up. It was nutty. So hold on. Add source, excellent. Then we'll do this, and we'll go. Patreon.com. Whoops. There we go. And I use Google font. What? Just like this. No, don't use Google fonts. That's nuts. Use Impact. That's what I like. Thank you for following. Whoops. Oh, I moved that. Don't need to move that. I need to move this guy. Is that an airplane going over? Is he just buzzing the crowd? Is he pulling a... This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Here you go, transition. Whoops. Oh, it didn't like that one at all. It does that sometimes. I have to go to... there you go. Go to starting soon real quick. And then we go back to commentary. And then we transition again. And oh, where'd you go? It gets confused. I'll fix it. Doink. Task force. Thank you. Show members of the task force. Task force. Tasking what the force is tasking. Task force. Yeah, so this is what I get to watch while I'm waiting for them to hang out in the garden. I can't, it apparently gets weird if you have two browser windows and you're pulling stuff from it. So that's the odd part. It's going to be 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. He's an hour late and these people are sitting waiting for him on folding chairs. Like, this is such an ego dump. And he met with people who've recovered from COVID today. That was in his briefing thing. So there's a schedule they put up of what the president does every day, and they have an icon for golf in his. It happened so often before all this. Hashtag task force. When are they going to have task force uniforms like they had Space Force ones? Do we need it? I need to make a task force like COVID Space Force logo. Do we rip off of like the medical center thing from Star Trek? Just borrow completely from that? That'd be great. She's working on the space outfits. Oh, still trying to twist arms to get people to join the Country Restart Council. They're supposed to announce who that is today. I mean, that's the big news today. Is who's going to be on that panel? Yeah, I don't know that we're going to get a real. Carol Baskin is the alien, right? Oh my God, this is so. Are they? What the hell? Okay, Costa's over there on the right. They're all getting they're getting pounds from sitting on the plastic chairs. Everybody's getting bored. Thank you, Espresso. Yeah, like and support the channel. Give us a thumbs up, all that stuff. I suppose I could give you the boilerplate while this is stopping. An hour late. An hour. And they still haven't given the 2-minute warning. Honestly, I feel like, hold on one second. Let's see. Can I do this? Yeah, let's do this. And I have to control duplicate. There we go. Done. Excellent. And then we'll go down to here, and then I'll change. Nope. This. Hide that. Add. Is that cam working? I think so. Oh, thank you, Ethic Cat. Appreciate it. I'm currently, let's see, video cache. Yeah, that'll work. Add source. Add a new one. Okay. There we go. Excellent. Done. Put this over here, and then we'll run it. This is so fun. I'm literally mixing a shot on the fly because why not? Are they doing it yet? I don't want to be late to this nonsense. I know you'd all be so disappointed. There we go. That's a little better. Hold on. Gotta move this camera out of the way. Don't knock anything over. All right. Hold on. One more second. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. Work with me. Take this one. Filters. Switch this to apply a filter. Go in here. Color key. Done. Green. Okay. Smoothness. Why are you not doing it yet? Done. I don't know why that doesn't want to do that, but whatever. Okay, doesn't matter. All right, we'll add an instrument, because why not? Okay, it'll work. Here we go. This is totally stupid, but if they're going to waste our time, we're going to make the most of it, I think. How y'all doing? What are you doing? Oh, would somebody call me a long-haired hippie? That's just rude. I don't understand. How dare you? I'm not a big electric piano fan. But you know, we can always. Should we give Trump a give him his own? Hal rocks the Floby hair. You guys are getting cruel. Or do we have trolls today? I don't know that we have, because we're just dangling. You're my favorite Muppet. Ah, that's sweet. Take a dump, no one will hear. Hear? Will they hear? Oh, it's yeah, Dune music. Why? Because they used a chord M1 to do all the synth. Little more rocker. Yeah, I need to set up a guitar in here. I was not expecting them to dangle like a bunch of idiots. Oh, are we starting? They're still sitting. Are they fixing his hair? What's happening? What's our theory right now? What do we need? This is what we need. This. There we go. That'll be, okay, so we got a theme, possibly. He's reoranging his face. Thanks, Rob. Not sure how long I could stay tonight, so getting my tip in early. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate it. And I don't know how long I could stand it either. Know any Blade Runner songs? I can do like fake Vangelis with the best of them, though. That's, you know, it's just a matter of which. I have to set up Logic to do that, though, because the ones that are in there, the sounds that I have in GarageBand aren't up to snuff. Yeah, it could be he may be doing rails of Adderall right now. So I have a good idea too. We'll do this during the during the hangout. I'm sorry you guys are waiting just like I am for this nonsense. It's going to be 3:15 before he comes out. This is. Are they? Do you think the news is so bad that they don't want? Hold on, I'm going to bring you guys up. You think the news is so bad that they are afraid it'll affect the stock market? That's my theory most of the time for this nonsense. Hold on. I gotta add a media source. Yeah, why not do this on the fly? You know what I mean? You guys are hanging out. It's all good. Put this down here. Take that in. Oh. Are they actually taking? Did they actually take pictures, or was that? Did they? I heard picture noises, but I'm watching on the other screen, and she's just making sure her camera still works. She's been sitting there so long. He's checking with Lindsey Graham. That's true. Oh, this is gonna. Yeah, today is going to be a cluster F. Oh, thanks for the super hearts. Appreciate that. I got to bring this feed down. This is enormous. Figure out how to make that a little more comfortable. Let's see. Bring this in so we can. Yeah, this will be a little better, and you can read it at least. Cool. This will be a little nicer. There you go. trying to get him into 2 pairs of depends just in case. Oh, it's a double diaper day. These are yeah. Oh, I'm sure they'll. I mean, I don't know that there'll be any reference to. They sent out a campaign thing from the Trump campaign's spokespeople sent out something today. What's happening, Mountain Bound? Thank you very much. It's going well. We're doing all right. We're just waiting, dangling, as you do. At some point, I'm just going to have to just like fire up the game system and start playing Call of Duty while we're waiting for this, you know. But Obama endorsed Biden today, and obviously this was a coordinated thing that they would get Sanders on to give his co-statement. Then Obama would come out. This is and then they would recognize Sanders' contribution. This was clearly a coordinated effort. Things that people think about when they want to function in government is how to look ahead and what messaging works and how to coordinate not just a campaign but a policy and and even something as simple as a press statement. So, I mean, that in and of itself is reason enough to vote for Biden in the fall. It's just that they're all thinking this through. Unlike, Captain Seat of his pants, if the president has, the president's powers are the president's powers. So check me on that for sure. Yeah, the H1N1 riff. I don't know you'll hear a ton of that. That's going to start fading, especially considering 12,000 people died in total in the United States from H1N1, and we are well past double that now. Yeah, I don't know that that's what you're going to want to shoot for in those situations. Know what I'm saying? Thanks, Bear Character. I don't know how this is going to be. Yeah, New York, exactly. Like, we're going to hit the number. New York City alone is going to hit the same number of total H1N1 deaths. Lenny Riefenstahl, right? That's right. That's right. What the combo box is going to be done is wonderful. Honest to God, I think that, if you cut to inside the White House, it'd be Trump doing live scenes from Jojo Rabbit. What is it you're always drinking? This is just iced coffee. Do I like Michael Jackson? I enjoyed his music for a great while, a few of the songs particularly. I was not a fan of the man and his behaviors, let's just say, his alleged behaviors. And more than any other factor in this, I'm a huge Prince fan. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States.
Oh, good Lord. You are not. Wait, they have to stand up when they're coming in? It says live stream tweeting. They made them all stand. Hold on.
Thank you very much. Please.
The President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States.
Hold on. This is this is a second later. This is their camera. Got my folder. Got my stuff.
Thank you very much. Please.
What?
Very importantly, I'd like to begin by saying that we've just reached
We just touched.
agreement. Very importantly, I'd like
Hold
to
on.
give the impression, Steve Mnuchin,
Oh no.
with the major airlines, all of our great airlines, to participate in a payroll support program. This agreement will fully support airline industry workers, preserve the vital role airlines play in our economy, and protect.
Yeah, they were working on his hair extra long. That's not happening. They had to spray it down extra hard in case there was wind. Last time we were in the Rose Garden, it was major wind. And now he's going to probably have the Blue Angels fly over at the last minute just to,
Taxpayers, our airlines are now in good shape. And
Are we? Oh, good. The airlines are in good shape, everybody. That's right. Everybody's going to want to race back down and hop in a tube next to their fellow Americans.
they will get over a very tough period of time that was not caused by them.
Oh, yeah, we don't. Unless you mean bringing people here from where the disease was, I suppose. No, it wasn't their fault. Meh. Maybe whose fault was it? Up on my list is the person who dismantled the pandemic response team.
The United States is continuing to make substantial progress in our war against the virus. We grieve at every precious life that has been lost.
I can tell. You guys tell that? You felt it. We grieve at every part of that is a life, and every dead person means very much to us. In this case or whatever, we're sorry if we were not there to save them, but they seemed like lovely people.
To the invisible enemy, but through the dark.
Oh, by the way, the invisible enemy thing is a way of excusing himself. How was I supposed to see it there? Have you seen the invisible man? This thing was choking me in the kitchen.
We can see the rays of light. We see that tunnel.
We see the tunnel. Did Pence write that line?
And at the end of that tunnel
is a light.
We see light. We're starting to see it. More.
All right, you mean there's light at the end of the tunnel? That statement you were saying 5 days ago? All right.
Never before we've held our rate, the numbers, everything we've done.
He lost his place. You got to keep your finger on the page, bruh.
We've been very, very strong on it and very powerful on it.
Uh-huh. Strong and powerful. Have we been strong? Have we been powerful on it? And we've been powerful and strong in our pointing at the paper?
You look at what's happening.
What's going on, and the fantastic job.
The countries, Spain, Italy, United Kingdom, we're working with them. We're trying to help them, especially with ventilators.
And they're like, pass, you know what? I'm good, thanks. It's great that you want to offer so many helps, but I think your nasty, dirty ventilators might want to keep those to yourselves, and they got a busted ring on there. It's not going to help.
Calling a lot. They need ventilators so.
They need them so bad.
15% of counties within the United States have 0 cases, and
15% of counties in the United States, counties, have 0%. Holy smokes. Oh, it might be that
many counties.
No, that's mine. Hold on. I think let me do this real quick. This might solve it.
Have a very small number of cases. Large sections of our country are really looking at other sections and saying, "Wow, that looks bad," but they don't.
Wow, that looks bad, but pass me a beer, Sam. We're one of the lucky 15% of counties that don't have any. Wow, that looks bad. Is that what they're saying? Holy shit.
The problem. I salute the American people for following our guidelines on social distancing, even you people. So.
You people? What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
Different looking out there when I look at you.
'Cause every time I look at you.
Their devotion, your devotion is saving lives. Today I'm in.
Yeah, we know. We're doing the hard part. But how's your second scoop of ice cream today?
My administration to halt funding of the World Health Organization while a review is conducted to assess the World Health Organization's.
You just said it a second ago. All you have to do is say it again.
And severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus.
So you don't have to tell the reporter yesterday if you're going to do anything against China and their use of their manipulation of the numbers. But the World Health Organization, we're cutting funds during the time that we're going to investigate. I see.
Everybody knows what's going on there.
Do we? Tell us what's going on there.
American tax.
Tell us what's going on there, because I tweeted a minute ago how the World Health Organization still has up on their website that asymptomatic carriers are not a major factor in spreading the disease, when in fact they are, and the information even from China says so, and they haven't got that posted. That would be something you could bring up if you knew what the shit you were talking about.
Taxpayers provide between $400 million and $500 million per year to the WHO. In contrast, China contributes roughly $40 million a year, and even less, as the organization's leading sponsor.
So what are you saying? They're better shoppers than we are? They get more bang for their buck?
The United States has a duty to insist on full accountability.
Here's a good idea. We're not going to be paying that money out to the World Health Organization. Maybe divert those funds to the post office.
One of the most dangerous and costly decisions from the WHO was its disastrous decision to oppose travel restrictions from China and other nations. They were very much opposed to what we did. Fortunately, I was not convinced and suspended travel.
After China had already stopped people from leaving, that's not what they were doing. It was already in the country when they were saying that's not going to be your solution. They were promoting contact tracing and isolation and quarantine.
China.
Is there an echo from theirs? I'm sorry if there's some sort of an echo. Is there a double? It might be from their site. I hope not. Let's see. I'll turn that off. Well, let's see. Cancel. It could very possibly be that.
Saving untold numbers of lives, thousands and thousands of people would have died. Had other nations likewise suspended travel from China, countless more lives would have been saved. Instead,
is that better? By the way, you can just tell by the emotion of countless more lives.
Look at the rest of the world. Look at parts of Europe. Other nations and regions who follow WHO.
It shouldn't be on their end. I'm like, that's super weird. Let me see what I can do. It might just be my microphone catching this. Could be, very possibly. I think it's possible. It's possible. Hold on. We'll do this.
Guidelines and kept their borders open to China.
Does that make it better?
Accelerated the pandemic all around the world. Many countries said, we're going to listen to the WHO, and they
excellent
have problems the likes of which they cannot believe.
They have the problems the likes of which they cannot believe. Has anyone? I'm just going to use these guys.
Nobody can believe.
Or
of other major countries to keep travel open was one of the great tragedies and missed opportunities from the early days.
From the early days of the early days.
The WHO's attack on travel restrictions put political correctness above life-saving measures. Travel bans work for the same reason that quarantines work. Pandemics depend on human-to-human transmission. Border control is fundamental to virus control.
You sound totally convinced.
Since its establishment in
Yep, we're getting loose. We're getting loose teeth today.
The American people have generously supported the World Health Organization to provide better health outcomes for the world, and most importantly, to help prevent global health crises.
It's weird how it seemed to work really well until you got into office and started ignoring them and not having our people work with them as consistently, and started putting sort of assholes in charge of functioning sections of government.
With the outbreak,
because like the CDC's main point person in China was one of the people that the WHO listened to the most, and
of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have deep concerns whether America's generosity has been put to the best use possible.
Thank you, Scooby.
The reality is that the WHO failed to adequately obtain, vet, and share information in a timely and transparent fashion.
Now, never mind the fact that our own intelligence community had already given him a briefing on this We were not going off the WHO's recommendations nationally, nor should we, except in coordination with other nations, not on our own internal national process. I don't know why that's a surprise.
The world depends on the WHO to work with countries to ensure that accurate information about international health threats is shared in a timely manner.
I think he might actually fall asleep during this one, kids.
And if it's not, to independently tell the world the truth about what is happening.
What is happening? Tell me what's happening. What's happening, man? Tell me. Come on, Trump. Tell us what's happening. Tell us.
WHO failed in this basic duty and must be held accountable.
Oh, gee, who else failed in their basic duty and must be held accountable?
Time after all of these decades.
Really? After you mean helping to coordinate with the United States the response to H1N1 and Ebola and keeping those numbers low and, you know, that kind of coordinated spread, and somehow you get into office and normal shit breaks?
WHO failed to investigate credible reports.
Oh, please. Okay, I'll try and turn him up. Hold on. I think I have in this, but I'll do my best.
Reports from sources in Wuhan that conflicted directly with the Chinese government's official accounts. There was credible information to suspect human-to-human transmission in December 2019, which should have spurred the WHO to investigate immediately. Through the middle of January, it parroted and publicly endorsed the idea that there was not human-to-human transmission happening, despite reports and clear evidence to the contrary. The delays the WHO experienced declaring a public health emergency caused
Good God.
valuable time, tremendous.
You can, if it's too loud now, you can turn it down on your end, because it should be in good quality as long as I'm not clipping.
More time was lost in the delay it took to get a team of international experts in to examine the outbreak, which we wanted to do, which they should have done.
We did do. Slow chat, please. I don't know how to slow the chat down on there. I'll have to work on that. It's pretty blazing. You guys are pretty awesome today. I'm just saying.
The inability of the WHO to obtain virus samples to this date has deprived the scientific community of essential data.
We've had the genome since January.
New data.
Tell us about the data.
That emerges across the world on a daily basis points to the unreliability of the initial reports.
Yeah, because they weren't getting legit reports from China about the spread of the disease. And there were conflicting reports because of the nature of the disease. Literally, people can have no symptoms, mild symptoms, horrifying symptoms. They can drag on for weeks and weeks, or they can drop in, 16 hours. There was stories of false positives, false negatives, asymptomatic carriers, pre-symptomatic carriers, where the window for most infection is. That's how shit works. As an emergency occurs, a lot of the news is mixed reports. I'll give you an example. There were a bunch of bullshit stories, anecdotes about hydroxychloroquine working. That turned out not to be the case. But in the beginning, some people thought it might be a valuable tool.
And the world...
Weeks after that, when they realized it wasn't, he bought 29 million doses of it and was trying to spread it everywhere.
Received all sorts of false information about transmission and mortality. The silence of the WHO
based on ignorance, not based on malice, stupid.
On the disappearance of scientific researchers and doctors, and on new restrictions on the sharing of research into the origins of COVID-19 in the country of origin is deeply concerning.
You mean China?
Especially when we put up by far the largest amount of money.
So China not giving complete information or being misleading about their numbers is the WHO's fault, not the fact that you consider Xi a buddy and you had friends over there that were supposedly all right.
Not even close.
No, not even close. You mean your understanding of complex situations?
Had the WHO done its job to get medical
Had you done your job? Had you done your job? I fixed it for you.
experts into China to objectively assess the situation on the ground and to call out China's lack of transparency, the outbreak could have been contained at its source.
Oh, so the WHO not calling out China's transparency is the problem, not ours. Thank you, Hal Vickery. I appreciate that.
With very little death. Very
What?
little death, and certainly very little death by comparison. This would have saved thousands of lives and avoided worldwide economic damage.
Yeah, if you'd have been paying attention. Dickhead, I was saying this stuff in December. There is no way your intelligence community and the people in your administration had less information about this than I did.
Instead, the WHO willingly took China's assurances to face value, and they took it just at
So did you.
face value.
He doesn't know at face value. He's confused by that.
And defended the actions of the Chinese government, even praising China.
Wait a minute. Even praising China? Do we drag up the tweet?
For its so-called transparency. I don't think so.
Hold on. Yeah, 1 second. Let's see. Trump praised China tweet COVID-19. Well, I'll find it. We'll have to scroll through here. Yeah, here it is. Trump thanks Xi Jinping for handling of coronavirus. When was this? January 24th. President Trump thanked Chinese President Xi Jinping for his country's handling of coronavirus shortly after American health officials confirmed a second case of the flu-like virus in the United States. China has been working very hard to contain the coronavirus. The United States greatly appreciates their effort and transparency. It will all work out well. In particular, on behalf of the American people, I want to thank President Xi. January 24th.
The WHO pushed China
For
misinformation about the virus, saying it was not communicable and there was no need for travel bans. They told us when we put on our travel.
There was no need for travel bans. No, they knew it was already past that point. By the time he instituted travel bans, China had already stopped people leaving Wuhan, and they had known that it was already spread in a bunch of other countries. The goal would be contact tracing and quarantine.
Ban, a very strong travel ban.
Strong travel ban. Only 30,000 people a day could come in from China without having their temperatures measured or being asked whether or not they've been traveling in Wuhan lately.
There was no need to do it. Don't do it. They actually fought us.
Thank you, Joyce. They actually fought us. Did they fight us?
WHO's
Did they really?
reliance on China's disclosures likely caused a 20-fold increase in cases worldwide, and it may be much more than that.
So the WHO is to blame for this disease, not you. This is him laying off. It's not my fault. I'm just the president.
The WHO has not addressed a single one of these concerns, nor provided a serious explanation that acknowledges its own mistakes, of which there were many.
One of your mistakes might have been taking the public statements of the World Health Organization over your own intelligence briefings and members of your own cabinet who were warning you that you needed $4 billion minimum for this task force that was formed in January from the same people who are in charge of the CDC and the NIH's teams on infectious disease. You didn't even make a new team to deal with it. They needed $4 billion to deal with this, and you didn't. But it's the WHO's fault. You know what? It's my fault. I blame me. I blame me. I blame me. You know what? Blame me. Okay? Now get on with being president.
Have chosen.
I'm kidding. It won't happen.
To rely on the WHO for accurate, timely, and independent information to make important public health recommendations and decisions.
So he's outsourced his decision making to the World Health Organization. That's leadership.
If we cannot trust that, this is what we will receive from.
Yep, this is what we'll receive. This business. There's pancake on his head.
WHO. Our country will be forced to find other ways to work with other nations to achieve public health goals. We'll have no.
You mean the CDC and NIH teams that we have deployed at all of our embassies? That kind of thing?
Choice but to do that. Our countries are now experiencing, you look all over the world.
Thank you, Scooby-Doo.
Tremendous death and economic devastation because those tasked with protect.
God, man, don't move. Please, by all means, dig that finger into that paper that you're reading and shake your shoulders because you've never seen this stuff before.
Us by being truthful and transparent failed to do so. It would have been so easy to be truthful.
Really? Why is it so hard for you? like, honestly.
And so much death has been caused by their mistakes.
Oh, see? It's the World Health Organization's problem. Thank you, Kurt. Thanks for the sticker. I appreciate that.
We will continue to engage with the WHO to see if it can make meaningful reforms.
But we're not going to pay them any money while they make those meaningful reforms. So they're going to have to pay for that with what? With what?
For the time being, we will redirect global health and directly work with others.
We'll he messed up a word there, and he had to fix the sentence. It took him a second. We'll redirect global health and directly. There's direction. Shit. What's that? Directly work with others.
All of the aid that we send will be discussed at very, very powerful letters and levels. Uh-oh. He had 3 meetings before this, guys. The Adderall is wearing off. With very powerful and influential groups and smart groups.
Smart groups of people, great people, like Steve Mnuchin and
politically,
Ivanka.
Politically and every other way.
My Pillow.
And we'll be discussing it with other countries and global health partners.
You mean like we should do anyways? Honest to God, like what is this? The World Health Organization exists. We pay into it. A bunch of other countries do too. They are a group that is there to advise and consent and keep track of some stuff. But we also, because we are the richest country in the world and we have partnerships all over the world, have source tracking for disease on our own everywhere. And there's no way that the countries that we engage with all the time in trade, when, you know, we don't have a nutcase running shit, don't tell us if they have an outbreak.
We do with all of that money that goes to
What money? It's $450 million. We're spending $2.2 trillion to jumpstart the economy, slash 6.4. It's also, I don't know if you're aware, Mr. Sparks, but we have engaged so far in, it's as much as 6.4 trillion with a T. So, but the president will deal with that. Jesus Christ.
WHO. And maybe WHO will reform, and maybe they won't.
We'll see what happens.
But we'll be able to see. As you know, in other countries hit hard by the virus, hospitals have been tragically forced to ration medical care and the use of ventilators.
Yeah, you mean like New York is using, they're putting 2 people on a ventilator right now? You mean like that?
But due to our early and aggressive action, the skill of our healthcare workers,
we have been able to turn CPAP machines into ventilators because it's that good old ingenuity.
And the resilience of our healthcare system. No hospital in America has been forced to deny any patient access to a ventilator with all of the talk you've heard where some states...
Christ, he's so defensive today. Shit.
Wanted 40,000 ventilators. I said, that doesn't work. 40,000.
Because you don't have them and you didn't keep the ones we had repaired, so they were never going to get them in the first place, so they started having to double people up. They didn't end up needing them. They took 20,000 that they had, and they split them by 4. And thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Jill.
And they ended up with 7,000 or 8,000.
Yeah, and they're running 2 patients on each one. And they haven't even spiked on the number of people who are on them. That's going to stack. That's going to continue to stack.
And they had no
they had what? No problems? They had no problem. They had, see, guys, it's not him, it's you. You have no problems. He just said so.
40,000.
I haven't heard anything about any of these things. Pence keeps me off those calls.
And ventilators.
Otherwise, I keep reaching for the football to try and nuke Cleveland.
One state. It was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. This is his response. Oh, by the way, this is in response to Cuomo today saying that it's ridiculous that the president has unlimited powers. He saw that this morning. That's what this. I'm not ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Good day, sir.
Scariest day of my life was about a month ago, when after a long day of meetings, my team told me that we were going to be needing 130,000 ventilators, that we were short hundreds of thousands of ventilators. This is the system we inherited.
You've been president for 3.5 years. What did you? Nothing is inherited. This is bananas. Holy shit. Folks, I'm going to say it right now, so if anybody wants to pull this clip later on, when I eventually run for president, I will never lay blame on anyone else for something that happens 3.5 years into my presidency. Just as, you know, because I'm a guy who just gives a shit.
I had governors requesting unreasonable sums that the federal government just didn't have.
Oh, why didn't they have them? Why not? Why didn't they have them? I mean, you've been president for 3 years. You noticed all the things wrong with, I know what it was. Guys, I figured it out. He was too busy working on the Republican health care plan, which will be here in a very short period of time.
And you look at the state.
Yep. Let's look at the states, shall we?
The states didn't have. The states were not prepared. I knew that every person who needed a ventilator and didn't get one would die. And that's what we were told.
Good Lord.
They would die. I saw in other countries doctors having to make decisions on who got a ventilator and who didn't. And I knew that this would be a defining challenge of the crisis. Those that didn't get ventilators were said to be in a position only of one alternative, and that was death.
Uh-huh.
Would we be able to prevent Americans from dying because we couldn't get them ventilators? And the ventilators that they needed, and they needed immediately.
Dude, he is talking about this like it happened 6 months ago. This is nuts. Like he's spiking the ball in the end zone before the anthem is finished singing.
I instructed my team to move heaven and earth.
Really? Is that how you said it? Okay, guys, move heaven and earth and call Pastor Jeffers.
Make sure that this didn't happen. We started
telling the governors, you're on your own. You should have had your own ventilators. We're just your backup. We looked at the ones that were sitting there that we let the contract lapse on repairing them, and they were we sent 170 broken ones to California, and with a note that said, eat shit, lefties.
Smartly ration and distribute the ventilators that we had and that others had. And I got daily
and that others had. That's a nice little addition.
updates on the supply we had.
It's not my fault. The WHO killed everybody. Plus, it's not as bad. We need to open the economy, and it's going to open big, and we're going to throw my shoulders into it.
From requests coming in and people wanting to have updates. We had a great group of people working on it.
We did? How long ago was this? When was this? Do you guys remember even the COVID-19 quarantine? It's been so long. I forgot what we even did back then. What'd you guys do during it? Where were you?
Instructed my team to use the Defense Protection Act.
The Defense what? The Defense Protection Act?
And the Defense Production Act.
Or both. Yeah, that's good. That's, either one of those. That'll work.
Was used very powerfully. More
Was it used very powerfully?
powerfully than anybody would know. In fact, so powerfully,
I didn't even have to use it. People were doing stuff without me even having to shoot them. That's how good a shot I am, is that when I said, hey, somebody needs to help that sick person or I'll shoot them, they were already helping the sick person. It's almost like people have morals.
that for the most part, we didn't have to officially take it out. It was a hammer. It was a very powerful hammer.
Uh-huh. Was it?
In order to manufacture as many ventilators as possible. Last year, America manufactured from a dead start 30,000 ventilators. And this year, the number will be over 150,000 ventilators. It could be as high as 200,000.
Yeah. It's a pandemic. We have 350 million people. If 1% of Americans need medical help because of this, Jesus Christ.
Far more than we'll ever need, so we'll be able to.
No. That's why you have stockpiles, dummy.
Stockpile.
Oh, God.
We'll be able to talk to states about stockpiling.
Yeah, you're going to hand it off to the states again. It's not my problem.
These are high-quality ventilators.
Not these cheap shit ventilators the Obamas bought that just help you breathe. These are gold leaf. Melania's been working on a cozy for them that's chiffon.
A choice. We could do inexpensive, less productive ventilators or
less productive ventilators. They either help you breathe or they don't.
high quality. We've done a high-quality ventilator.
What, as opposed to what? Well, one of the ventilators that we presented to the president was you take a grandmother who's got the disease herself, and you set her in a rocking chair, and you set the bag on the ventilator down underneath the rocking chair, and then you run the hose up to her mouth, and then as she rocks back and forth, she pumps her own bag.
So we should have
That's not high quality, but that's family, and that's important.
anywhere from 150 to 200,000 ventilators. In addition to that, we have
High classy ones. They have like with all these Mercedes. They're just like the normal ones, except we stapled a Mercedes hood ornament on them.
1,000 ventilators right now in the federal stockpile, ready to move. Should we need them? We might not.
Nobody wants them. They went and got their own. All the big states went and bought their own. They're not moving because they suck. You let them break down.
Should we need them in New York or New Jersey or in Louisiana?
Connecticut or southern Georgia or Louisiana or Mississippi, or holy shit, we've got actual other problems in the world like weather.
Or in Illinois or any other state that may need them if we have a surge.
Yeah, no. The big states like California, New York, and Washington have already gone ahead, bought their own. Any ones that they're not experiencing a need for, they're passing them on to other states. States are gathering together in little cliques.
I'd like to ask Adam Bowler to come up and just say a few words. He's done a fantastic job, a young man who worked 24 hours a day on handling this situation, and I'd just like to have.
Yeah, not true. If you worked that many hours a day and our response was this shitty, get some sleep.
Adam, wherever he may be, come up and say a few words. Adam, please.
Yeah, touch the mic.
Thank you very much.
Adam, come up here and touch the mic, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President. At your direction, this country has worked hard over
At your direction, dear leader, we will all say a prayer now for dear leader. Sir, without your direction, America would have responded to this pandemic simply by setting themselves on fire and running around shopping malls screaming Allah Akbar. But thanks to your direction, they're doing something else.
past few weeks to ramp up ventilator production through all means possible. Thousands of ventilators are coming in now, monthly,
To replace the ones that were broken that you didn't repair?
with over 100,000 by the end of June.
Really? You're smiling at the idea that we'll have 100,000 by the end of June?
Same time, there are over 60,000 ventilators in our hospitals right now that are not in use.
Because they're not useful for these kinds of patients. You're talking about the ones that anesthesiologists use, or CPAP machines.
Knowing this, and at your direction, we reached out to the American Hospital Association to design a system that allows hospitals to lend ventilators to other hospitals right when they need it.
Oh, a system. You mean like Oregon did with New York? Gee, where'd you get the idea for that one? Is this statement he's making from 6 weeks ago, before New York and Oregon already had that idea?
Within the past week alone,
since Oregon and New York came up with the idea,
top health systems have signed up for this dynamic ventilator reserve, representing over 4,000 ventilators.
Ooh, over 4,000. How many in the strategic reserve that we have actually work? Where's that list again?
Not only do we have top academic systems like Cleveland Clinic and Mayo Clinic, but we also have top health systems from New York City, New Orleans, Washington State, and California.
Ooh. Wow. He's very excited about that. We have Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic and New York and California, and we're all going to form a band and go travel around the country singing show tunes.
Over a week ago, these places would have needed help, but now they are here to help.
What? Yeah, because their governors started working on it without you. Why are you impressed by the work other people have done?
No American that has needed a ventilator that has not received one. This dynamic virtual reserve, combined with our strategic stockpile, will ensure that this is always the case. I'd like to thank the president.
It was supposed to, but not according to the president. You know, the president, federal government's just a backup. I mean, the state should be handling this shit on their own.
For his leadership and directive to focus on public-private partnerships like the
public-private partnerships.
one. I'd also like to thank Sam Hazen from HCA, Lloyd Dean from Common Spirit, for leading this effort with the AHA and the Federation of American Hospitals.
Doing it on their own, you mean?
These have been difficult times.
Oh, really? Tell us about it.
A few weeks ago, the vice president came into my office.
Ew. Oh, into.
And he reminded us of the power of the resilience of the American people.
Really? How'd he do that? He came in and reminded you of the power and resilience of the American people. How'd he do that? Well, he told us that Oregon had just sent a bunch of ventilators to New York and nobody was listening to us anymore and was making all that. Oh, my God.
Private companies. We needed it that day, Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, These guys were sitting in his office doing fuck all, and Pence walked in and went, guys, relax, relax. The private organizations and the hospitals and the governors are doing this all by themselves. They're not even returning my phone calls. They're just dealing with this shit.
Partnership is another.
Honest to God. That's what he's bragging about. That the Pence came in and told him they're handling it. That was the best day? Are you shitting me?
Example of Americans helping Americans.
Yeah. We don't have a choice, dummy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Beat it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir. See how good I am?
But I'm not allowed to.
I'd shake his hand, but I'm not allowed to. Oh, my God. Dude, you're both in suits. Do an elbow bump. Do something cute that would have made the pictures. Tell him you've obviously all been tested. You washed your hands right before you came out. You touch. I'd shake his hand, but I'm not allowed to. And then he immediately goes to molest the microphone.
Times have changed, haven't they? Thank
Have they? Have they really?
you very much. You did a fantastic job. We're very proud of you. You and your whole team.
Your whole team sitting in your office going, oh my God, what are we going to do? This is a wreck. Blah, blah, blah. Pence walks in. Boys, don't worry about it. Someone else is handling it. God bless America.
Thank you.
What? Oh God, he's picking up reading again.
Today we are taking further action to maximize our oversupply in available ventilators.
Our oversupply of available ventilators. Really? Why aren't we talking about the 29 million doses of hydroxychloroquine that didn't go anywhere, that are sitting in a warehouse on a pallet?
Afternoon,
Your taxpayer dollars at work.
I met with the leaders, the top people of of America's big, powerful, beautiful, and very, very important hospitals.
Oh, beautiful hospitals. Very important. Big, beautiful, powerful. You just want to grab them by the vagina, don't you? What?
And hospital associations who join us.
Oh, okay. He lost track of what he was saying, hospital association, so he had to throw hospital in there and then toss a bunch of adjectives on top of it like a fire.
Today, we had a great
I use words like amazing, beautiful, fantastic as kindling.
meeting. Learned a lot. And they've been going through a lot. They've been doing a fantastic job, as everybody here will attest. I'm pleased to announce that my administration is partnering with the hospitals across the country to create an innovative new system called the Dynamic Ventilator Reserve, so that we're going to have tremendous numbers of ventilators.
We already had a system like that. That's why states don't store up their own. You just don't want to be responsible for keeping a strategic reserve of anything, except, of course, oil, which, isn't really a strategic reserve. We're just holding it for the oil companies till they can sell it.
That we're able to help our states with at a later date.
Yeah. See, that's how it normally works anyways. That's why states don't stockpile them, because if New York gets hit with a chemical attack, they can borrow them from Ohio, which more than likely isn't going to get hit with a chemical attack. But if we have a pandemic where everyone needs ventilators, everybody's at max out and we're screwed. That's why the federal oh my God. I'm arguing why this man should be a president. It's terrible.
There's ever a problem like this, which we hope to God will never happen again.
There will be. Hashtag COVID 2024.
It was 1917, 1918. That's a long time ago. We hope it.
Is it really? It doesn't feel like a long time ago. It feels like we're in the middle of it right now, just with slightly better lighting.
Never happens again. And I'd like to ask Rick Pollock, CEO of American
So basically every 100 years, so it won't happen next year, and it's not your fault if it does.
Hospital Association.
What? If he got reelected and we got hit with a second round of this, how many of you think that he wouldn't come out and blame, we had to defund the WHO because they were lying to us, and it's because they're underfunded. They don't have the response. It's their response. They say they don't have the resources to fight this.
Hazen, CEO of HCA Healthcare. That's the largest in the United States. Warner Thomas, CEO.
You mean the Hospital Association of America? Is the largest Association of Hospitals in America. What?
Of Ochsner Health, and
Oh God, he's good. Is he gonna fall over? Is he gonna fall asleep right here on the?
if I could,
You can't.
Paul, are you here from Cleveland Clinic? Somebody good. Thank you. Come on up,
He's leaving. He's just walking out.
folks. Please. Thank you, sir.
Please come up. Let me touch the mic again. Come on, guys. No handshakes. No handshakes. No handshakes.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Nice social distancing. What is he doing? Stand on the other side of the stage. They're coming that way. What's wrong with you?
Appreciate the opportunity to work with you and your team on the.
And if we don't say that, you won't let us, and then we'll end up using used toilet paper for gowns.
Dynamic Ventilator Reserve Program.
Fantastic.
This will provide a really important mechanism for us in serving our patients and communities by ensuring that this vital equipment will be available to critical areas that are in need.
Yeah, because what they did was they bought these and they did it too late, so they're all going to arrive after the hospitals have already done other stuff to deal with the patients and after we've flattened the curve. So the ones that show up late, they're going to be sitting there and he doesn't want to maintain them. So what he's going to do is dole them out to hospitals as long as they promise to trade them around if there's a problem in the future.
You know, as the battle against this disease has affected the country a little bit unevenly, the rates.
Really? Unlike what other infectious disease?
Infection, hospitalization, and ICU use varies from one region to another.
Does it? Huh.
In some places with lower
Thank you, Natalie.
infection rates, some ventilators may not be in use, while other areas are potentially stretched beyond their capacity.
Really? I hadn't noticed.
The database of...
I'm glad we have someone from the Hospital Association to explain this to me, that some places are getting hit harder by the virus and in other places will be lagging indicators of
available ventilators that we are creating will allow us to flex so that we can.
And that's something I like to do. I know that you guys, I flex all the time. You know, we're all going to have a flexing. I'd like to invite Mr. Universe, I'm sorry, President Trump back up here.
And make sure that available equipment can be shared with those in need.
You mean like we have to respond to bioweapons attacks? It's the same thing. Stop pretending you invented something.
We appreciate the leadership of the health systems that are here today that has stepped forward. And Adam mentioned a few. I don't know if he caught Dr. Fritz Francois from NYU Langone and Dave.
He definitely did not mention Dr. Fritz Francois from Fangalone.
Dill, the CEO of Life.
Fritz Francois. That guy's been dealing with that his whole life.
Point as well.
Please bring up Dr. Fritz Francois. I can't even say Fritz Francois. Please bring up Dr. Fritz Francois. Fritz Francois, son of a bitch. Please bring him up there because he has to have a giant curly mustache.
We appreciate the work of the administration in helping us find innovative solutions to ensure the best care for our patients. We'll continue to work with hospitals and health systems across the country to
wonderful. And now
add to this reserve further. Your team has provided us with important leadership, and we look forward to working with you in making this a success. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. You're next. Go ahead. Oh, he's excited today. Go ahead, do this. Somebody showed him poll numbers right before this.
Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Adam, the team, I stand here before you in front of our 285,000 colleagues who provide care to patients every day across the country. One of the guiding principles we had when we went into this COVID-19 battle was to find partnerships with other components of the industry,
because we knew the president would be staring off into, like, look, there's a birdie. Look, a birdie. The president's not.
With other health systems.
I heard a noise. It was, excuse me, I have to, I'm in charge of security here as well.
Partnerships with governments, both local and federal. And we're proud to be a part of this private-public sector partnership, and I think it's going to do great good for the community. So thank you very much.
Great job. Thank you.
Great job. Next. Pez dispenser. This is great. By the way, you guys are doing fantastic with the social distancing right now. Really well done, guys. This is not a look at him, and look at this just herd of cats behind him trying to figure out where to go. Trump could have solved all of this just by walking to the other side of the stage. Like how? Look at this.
Thank you.
Next guy, how do you like this?
Mr. President, it's great to have Auctioner Health be part of this program.
As someone who is actually 6'3", it's nice to stand near you.
Certainly have been a recipient, and the state of Louisiana has been a recipient of help getting ventilators to our state and to Auctioner Health. We're currently taking care of about 60% of the COVID patients in New Orleans, and we did see a spike over the past few weeks, but we're starting to get on the other side of that and heading in the right direction. I also want to thank you personally for helping Auctioner Health. A couple weeks ago, we were running short on surgical gowns, and you and your team were able to direct some to New Orleans, which was helpful to us and other
like you're supposed to
hospitals around the New Orleans area. So we're excited to be part of this dynamic.
I think Trump is putting on weight while we're watching.
Ventilator reserve, and we are proud to be part of that and help other communities around the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the
Oh, this must be Fritz Francois.
invitation here. On behalf of the Cleveland Clinic, I would just like to offer a slightly different story about a COVID
Most people don't know that's a Cleveland accent. In case you're not.
pandemic. In our home state of Ohio, with an early institution of social distancing, our ability to scale up the testing and ramping out the capacity.
Yeah, that dude's not French Canadian at all. That is a pure, perfect Cleveland accent.
We have actually seen
Our home state of this down here, you know.
a stable number of patients over the last 8 to 10 days. Only 160 patients have been hospitalized with COVID infection in Cleveland Clinic Health System. We are also very grateful for the support from our state government as well from our federal government. This is a battle where we're all in together. We coordinate our efforts, share our resources, and work together as one. I'm firmly convinced that we can do a lot of good when we work together. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and that's a very interesting Cleveland accent that you have there, whatever. I understand you're 7'4". Thank you, now get off. He's wearing his lifts today even.
That was a terrific meeting, and thank you all for being.
That was a terrific meeting. We accomplished it. Is that how meetings go? I'm guessing they had the meeting before this, and that's what took so long,
Yeah,
right?
Thank you very much. The United States has far more ICU beds per capita than any other nation. We have 34.7 ICU beds per 100,000 people.
Oh, per capita, you're saying, because obviously we don't have more than India or China.
Which is the best there is, compared with roughly 12.5 beds per 100,000 in Italy, 11.6 beds in France, 9.7 beds in Spain.
Yeah, they also have healthier populations. One of the reasons they have fewer ICU beds is that they don't have the health issues we have here, not the least of which are, of course, diabetes and obesity, hypertension, drug issues, an enormous number of health concerns. But on top of that, like Florida man, I think, fills up half our ICU beds every year.
That 34.7 we have.
Yeah, they live longer too.
And 6.6 in the UK. There are more than 60,000 ventilators at hospitals and other healthcare facilities that are not in use at this moment.
They're not for this.
And we got a lot of them out, and they didn't need them. And that's a good thing that they didn't need them. But a lot of good brain power was involved in making a lot of fantastic decisions.
Good brain power. Really? So you're saying you weren't anywhere near that?
I want to thank our vice president for the task force.
Oh, okay. So good brain power, not great. I get it.
And I want to thank all members of your task force on having done an incredible job. You really have done an incredible job.
Did everybody in that audience just touch their face at the same time?
Thank you very much. Through this new partnership with the hospitals, unused ventilators will voluntarily lend them where they have unused ventilators, they will voluntarily lend those ventilators to other hospitals,
Ventilators on them?
areas of greater
They're
need.
going to pass it
In
around
the
to
last several days,
wherever they go.
more than 20 of our nation's largest health systems have already pledged.
Health systems have already, oh, it's going to get bad. This is going to be tough when he starts taking questions. Oh, boy.
More than 4,000 ventilators should we need them. And I've been told that if they needed more, there are more there.
What? No, there aren't. That's the 4,000 reserve. I love how he just pads numbers just because I've heard it could be more than that, or less, or more, but we'll see what happens.
Be helping very soon when the supply really starts pouring in, which started, but will really.
You mean June?
Start
after we've had our first secondary spike after coming out of total lockdown mid-May. You mean then?
About less than a month, we're going to be helping other countries, and they need it very badly. They have no chance without these ventilators. They have to have ventilators.
Yeah, but we're not going to need them, even though we have more cases than Italy, Germany, and Spain combined.
As we continue our medical war against the virus, the FDA has now authorized the first test developed by researchers from Rutgers University that can use saliva from patients. It's the first one. These tests can be self-administered by patients in healthcare settings, which will reduce exposure for medical workers and save personal protective equipment. Rutgers will begin processing 10,000 tests daily. So by using saliva, that's the first, they'll be able to do things in terms of speed and ease that we haven't been able to do before. So a lot of great innovation is taking place during this period of time, and that's innovation. I call it innovation under pressure.
That's what you call it? You call it innovation under pressure? This is your new catchphrase? Innovation coming down on me. What you see, I'm under pressure.
Big difference. Innovation.
Innovation.
Pressure, right? Cleveland Clinic knows all about that.
I know all about pressure. What do you know about pressure? Well, I have kissed a man.
As we prepare for the next phase of this great struggle, we must also do everything in our power to restore prosperity for the American worker. There's tremendous interest and excitement surrounding the administration's efforts to get the economy roaring once again, and I think it's going to roar once it gets open.
So much excitement, guys.
I think it's going to go up tremendously. You see what's happening with the stock market already because a lot of the...
Because it contraindicates against employment figures, you mean?
Smart financial people, the great minds, they're looking at the stock and they're saying, wow, because what they're really seeing is how we're doing.
That's hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine, dynamite with a laser beam, guaranteed to slow the spread.
We're doing well.
Oops, you're dead.
The market wouldn't be at a level that it is today.
Dude, the market likes it when people are broke.
They have a lot of confidence that we're doing the right thing and that our...
No, they're shuffling money around. You just protected the oil market.
Country's going to be open soon, and our country's going to be booming.
Yeah, booming, like Chernobyl.
Had requests to participate from the best in the world as we share their enthusiasm to get our country going. So I thank them for wanting to contribute, and we look forward to speaking with many industry leaders.
Yeah, we know. That's who you like to talk to, industry leaders. And they like talking to you because they get a free coronavirus test when they show up at the White House.
Their input.
Meanwhile, try to get one.
On how we can return to what was until very recently the greatest economy anywhere.
Glory days. With the economy of a young girl, glory days. When he used to golf every day, glory days.
In the world. And I can say the greatest economy in the history of the world. There's never been an economy like we had just a little bit more than a month ago. We said
I used to spin yarns around the fireplace.
Every record you could set. More people working than we've ever had working before, almost 160 million. The best unemployment numbers we've ever had, and the best employment numbers we've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how does that track with the economy and the job numbers coming up from Obama from 2009 going up? How does it track? Oh, it's exactly in line with the growth figures. It's not up from that at all. There's no variance hardly at all. It's just kind of going. Yeah, interesting.
Everybody was doing well. Stock market at a record.
And nothing helps the stock market like 20 million people without a job.
142 days it hit a record. And I think we're going to top those records. Okay?
Yeah, how many days did it hit a record under the Obama administration? It went from 6,400 to 19K.
And I think we're going to top them soon, once we get rid of the invisible enemy, which will happen. The plans to reopen the country.
What are you, the visible enemy?
Are close to being finalized.
Oh, the plans to reopen are close to being finalized. Oh, in the next very short period of time?
And we will soon be sharing details and new guidelines with everybody.
Oh, yeah? Let me guess. They're going to look exactly like Gavin Newsom's.
I will be speaking to all 50 governors very shortly.
To steal their ideas.
And I will then be authorizing each individual governor of each individual state.
Oh, okay. So just so you know, if your state has 2 governors, he's only talking to one of them.
To implement a reopening and a very powerful reopening plan.
Oh, yeah? A very powerful reopening. That's an important... Is he having penis issues? I'm just saying. He's using powerful a lot. And it just sounds like he can't get Viagra. The shipment from India isn't coming.
And of their state at a time and in a manner as most appropriate.
Yeah, they're doing that already.
The day will be very close.
Oh, will it? The day will be very close. Quick, Mike, get a pen. I've got another poem coming.
Because certain states, as you know, are in much different condition and in a much different place than other states.
Yeah, some states implemented their own systems and are bending the curve, and other states ignored it and have made the WWE an essential service.
It's going to be very, very close. Maybe even before the date of May 1st.
No, it's not. We're not going to reopen before May 1st. Are you frigging nuts?
So
all right, he doesn't even know he made news.
It will be for some states. Actually, there are over 20 that are in extremely good shape.
Except they're not. We're not testing. We don't know. What are you talking about?
And we think we're going to be able to get them open fairly quickly, and then others will follow. The federal government will be watching them very closely.
You think?
And we'll be there to help. We'll be there to help in many different ways.
You know what? We're good. We're good. We're fine. You know what I mean? We're good. Why am I about to quote friggin' Ronald Reagan? I'm Donald Trump, and I'm here to help you. Run, Nancy, run. Check my horoscope. Did it say shit's gonna hit the fan with Libras today?
Where we built hospital beds at a number that nobody's ever seen before.
We've seen beds built like that before.
The ventilators that we just discussed at a level.
Christ, man. That's why you keep quoting 1917. We all just saw the Churchill film. We know how governments are supposed to work when shit hits the fan.
That nobody's ever seen before. Nobody can even believe.
I believe. Why is it unbelievable? You're just amazed. That's what okay. Thank you, Kurt. I'm amazed myself at the number of people. Like, he must be surrounded by people who hate the federal government or the function of government so much that when it does anything well, they panic. They're like, what the, how did you even do this shit?
Foreign countries, even powerful countries, can't believe what we were able to do.
Really? Which powerful countries? You mean the ones that are digging graves that you can see from space?
With ventilators. Big,
Which big powerful country? Name them.
powerful countries.
Like what? Ecuador.
Producing countries can't believe what we were able to do.
Why? Because you're in charge? Is that why they're surprised? I mean, I know that they can normally do this kind of thing, but with that Gibbon in charge, I'm certain that the whole thing was going to fall apart, you know. But they managed to do it.
We will hold the governors accountable. But again, we're going to be working with.
Wait, what? We will hold the governors accountable? So basically, you're going to insist that they open. You have total power. But if they open up and it goes badly, you'll hold them accountable. Okay, well, there you go. Nice trust game.
Them to make sure it works
We'll hold them accountable and make sure it works.
really well. Now, we have a list of people that I'll be speaking to over the next very short period of time. In
Oh, very short period of time. That's my favorite period of time, you know?
many cases tomorrow.
Or tomorrow, even. In discussions with. What is difficult about this sentence?
We're going to have elected officials, and we'll be submitting that list to you
You mean Republicans?
within the next 24 hours.
Oh, really? I thought that was supposed to be announced today. You mean the list that got out that had Ivanka on it yesterday? You had to revise that one, and it's taking you an extra day to work up the courage to tell her she can't be on Daddy's reopening the country very powerfully council?
But we have a list of different industries that I'll be discussing by meeting by telephone because we don't want people traveling right now.
You mean, like, let me guess, the airline industry and trains?
The American Farm Bureau Federation, Zippy Duval.
Zippy Duval? Zippy Duval. How did we not know this person, and why are they not there today? Zippy Duval, ready to go.
Systems, Tyson Foods, Purdue Farms, Cargill,
So Arkansas.
Archer Daniels, Midland Company, Corteva,
What? What? Why are you reading this horseshit?
Tractor Supply Company,
Tractor Supply Company. What do they make?
Seaboard Corporation, Grimway Farms, Mount Air Farms, and others in the agricultural business.
Guys. Okay, sorry. Those guys are all from the agricultural industry, and Zippity Doodah runs the thing for them.
And it's Bank of America. Brian Moynihan's been great. J.P. Morgan Chase, Jamie
Oh, we're name dropping banks again now.
Dimon, Goldman Sachs, Citi.
Goldman Sachs getting a shout out from the podium. There you go. That's right. Tell me again, folks, how he was the safe choice against Wall Street.
Group, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bancorp, Morgan Stanley,
Yeah, you can brag about the banks all you want, but do they have a guy named Zippity Doodah running them?
James Gorman, Grand Rapids State Bank, Southern Bancorp, all great institutions with
We'd like to thank Zaphod Beeblebrox from the Intergalactic Space Bank.
lots to say and lots of good ideas. And if you look at how Paycheck has been working out, the numbers are incredible. And I
They're great. Everybody's so happy about the checks they haven't gotten yet.
hope Congress is going to be able to supplement the amount of money going
I love how this whole thing is about how we have too much, but we need more.
to our workers. I hope they're able to get that.
I mean, that's, too much is never enough, should be the Trump 2020 banner.
Very quickly because it's been an incredible success, and many are already spending that money, and the money's been
Oh, shit. Guys, that's why it's not in your bank account. You already spent it. You didn't even know it.
distributed at numbers that nobody believed possible for this short period of time. It was only a week ago, but a lot of money has been distributed already. It's going to keep our small businesses open. The construction
Okay.
labor workforce,
Mnuchin was just saying yesterday talking about the delays are actually a good sign.
International Union of Operating Engineers, Jim Callahan.
Oh, God. Why are we're doing credits now? This is the credits? I'd like to thank my agent.
America Building Trades Union, Sean McGarvey. These are a lot of friends of mine. Labor.
Oh my God, he's just listing his bros, and they're all coming in just to get a test. Hey, name drop me, I'll come by, and as long as I can get a test before I head home.
International Union of North America.
Of course, we'll all take the same private jet with the guy who tested positive and couldn't go into the meeting.
Rio Sullivan.
But whatever.
International Brotherhood of Teamsters, James Hoffa. National Electrical Contractors Association, David Long. Bechtel. Floor. National Association of Home
Bechtel Floor.
Builders. Association of Builders and Contractors. Associated General Contractors. Richard Trumpka, AFL-CIO. G.H. Palmer. So these are some of the
businesses and unions in the country who are part of the economy. You think? What is that?
unions, pretty much almost all of the ones that will be on the line.
Almost all of the ones that'll be on the line, and then there'll be some other. Turn the paper over. Finish reading, big boy.
In defense, we have Lockheed Martin.
Oh God, this is absurd.
Honeywell, Northrop Grumman. These are all the top of each company, CEOs.
I'm not talking to any shit can or middle management asshole or anybody who works on the line. I'm talking to the big boss.
Chairmen, presidents, Raytheon.
Chairmans and presidents. I don't talk to. Get the guy on the phone who can say no.
General Dynamics. Energy. We had a tremendous success recently with energy over the weekend. It finished with
you mean the oil deal where you stopped the price at the pump from going to 99 cents and boosted it?
Tremendous credit going to Russia and Saudi Arabia.
Well. Shall we all drink to have what was his first thing out of the gate? Big butt kiss to Russia and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And it could be as much as 20 million barrels a day, a cut, so that we can get rid of some of the tremendous excess oil that's been produced because of the fact that the virus just knocked out almost 50% of the business. It's been an amazing achievement. Some people say one of the biggest oil deals ever made, maybe the biggest oil deal ever made.
Jesus Christ, it's a pandemic. What are you talking about?
Saying I didn't know that, but we were in.
Oh my God, what the biggest oil deal ever is that they're going to cut by 20 million barrels. What? This shit has been going on for decades.
Involved in getting that done, and it was very important. We're going to save hundreds of thousands of jobs for our
for the oil industry while stopping hundreds of thousands of jobs coming back online.
Energy industry, Texas and North Dakota, Oklahoma, all of our different energy states. It's great. So we're very happy about it. I want to thank everybody. We had it's called OPEC Plus. That's OPEC Plus, meaning.
Oh, I see. So it's OPEC Plus.
Some nations outside of OPEC.
Oh, I see.
And I also want to thank the president of Mexico because he was terrific.
So great. He's just allowed us to get it. He stopped producing 100,000 barrels. If we promise to stop producing, we lower our output by 250,000, and someday in the future we'll reimburse them.
He showed great dexterity and flexibility in getting the deal done. We want to.
He did. Yeah, he did the whole thing with his ankles behind his ears.
Thank him very much. On the energy front, we have.
What? Oh, honest to God, if you're talking about a 20 million barrel cut a day in global production, and Mexico's cutting 100,000 barrels a day, who gives a shit?
ExxonMobil, Continental Resources, Chevron, Southern Company, Alabama Power,
Come and go.
Phillips, Occidental Petroleum, Kinder Morgan, Hess Corporation,
Kind of moron.
Pierogi Group,
and
a few others, big ones.
Big ones that I don't even want to name on here. I can't pronounce them.
Big ones.
Jesus.
Financial services, we have Blackstone, Stephen Schwarzman,
Yeah, we're about to hit 30,000 deaths in the United States, and he's reading off the chairmans of oil companies.
Paulson and Company, John Paulson.
Are we supposed to be impressed that these people are returning his phone call? I don't understand this.
Ken Griffin, Elliott Management.
Ronald McDonald, not the clown, the real guy. Wendy. Dave Thomas is dead, but Wendy lives on. I don't know if you know that. One of the Colonel Sanders, he's calling me.
Paul Singer, Vista Equity Partners, Robert Smith, Fidelity Investments, Abigail Johnson.
Now we're just doing other Wall Street firms.
MasterCard.
Oh, these guys like me now. MasterCard.
Visa.
You know, the big names. None of this Diners Club horse shit. What is this? Knots Landing?
Chubb. Sequoia. Stevens. Warren Stevens.
What are you talking about? What are you doing? What is he rambling about?
Charles Schwab. Chuck Schwab.
Chuck Schwab. Some people call him Chuck. I call him Charles. Chuck. Sleepy-eyed Chuck Schwab.
We'll be here by phone.
We'll be here by phone.
Food and Beverage National Restaurant.
Oh, no. Now we're getting into snacks. His favorite thing. I've got the munchies something. You would not believe how many Pringles you can eat when you snort crushed Adderall.
Association. McDonald's.
Where I get my favorite fish delight. Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese. The Cheeto leopard. Or is he a leopard? I think he's a cheetah. He's a cheetah, I get it, okay.
Garden Restaurants, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola.
The Frito Bandito.
Chick-fil-A, Subway.
Some chick with a filet.
Bloomin' Brands, Yum Brands, Papa John's, Wendy's, Waffle House, Starbucks, Wolfgang.
Waffle House. What is he doing? He's just naming these.
Thomas Keller, Jean-Georges, my friend Jean-Georges.
Your friend Jean-Georges. What is this? Serious to God.
And Danielle. You know them.
There's nothing playing on this HomePod.
From the transportation world, FedEx, Fred Smith, alleged.
Oh my God. FedEx, UPS, singing telegrams.
United Airlines, Oscar Munoz. UPS.
Oscar, how do you pronounce that?
David Abney, J.B. Hunt. YRC Worldwide, Crowley, Maritime, credible, big, powerful shippers and transportation.
Good God.
Companies. In telecommunications, we have
Papa Smurf.
The legendary John Malone of Liberty Media.
Of Liberty Media.
Verizon, T-Mobile, Charter Communications, and
Comcast.
And Brian Roberts of Comcast. Thank you.
I call it Comcast.
Very much.
Thank you all very much, even though I called you Comcast last week.
Healthcare. New York Presbyterian, Jerry Spire, friend of mine, HCA.
Thank you, Catherine.
Healthcare. Sam Hazen, thank you, Sam. Just met with Sam. Ascension.
I just met with Sam.
Health. Common Spirit Health, Community Health Systems.
What?
Trinity Health, Cardinal Health, McKesson, 3M. Thank you, Mike Roman, for helping us with face masks. It worked out well for everybody.
Did it? Are people still hand sewing them? Oh, yeah, they are.
Procter & Gamble, Abbott Laboratories.
Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous.
Johnson & Johnson. Merck.
I'd like to thank Lyndon Johnson, my own Johnson, if I could see it.
Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Thermo Fisher Scientific. They've been helping us incredibly with testing. Gilead Sciences, AbbVie, Regeneron, Biogen.
Abby Normal.
Roche, and Roche
has been so great. They've got roaches everywhere.
Fantastic on testing. The job they've done, I have to call them out. They have stepped up like very few.
Like very few have stepped up before. More than the rest of these losers I'm rattling on.
Anthem, United Health Group, Aetna, Cigna, and Humana, all the big ones.
I'd like to thank Jared from Subway as well. He throws the best parties here at the White House.
The
ShamWow guy, My Pillow.
tech company.
We're gonna we've been fixing all of our broken ventilators with Flex Seal.
So we have the right ones. Apple. We have Tim Cook.
Tim Apple.
Google. Sundar. Thank you, Sundar. Oracle. Larry Ellison. Safra Katz. Salesforce. Mark.
What was that? Saffron Cats? Is that an app? Is everyone playing Saffron Cats?
Beninoff. SAP. SAP. Jen Morgan. Microsoft. Satya. Great job he's done. Thank you, Satya. Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg. IBM.
What do you mean Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg? What's he been doing? What are you talking about?
Intel. Qualcomm. Cisco. Advanced Micro Devices.
Jesus Christ. His staff must be flipping out right now. This is insanity. Yeah, SAP is not pronounced SAP, right?
Broadcom.
Yeah, Hair Club for Men, Bosley.
Incredible companies that no other country
Has.
will catch if they're smart.
Huh? Will catch?
To be smart. But I've dealt with a lot of different countries, and I will say that the respect for Silicon Valley and our tech companies, there's
nobody like it. China loves to steal what they can from there. Russia,
even
doing their best to try and undermine these things, and I've let them, but
close to our tech companies. They can't catch them, so they try and buy them. But we've sort of put an end to a lot of that.
Sort of put an end to a lot of that? What are you talking about? You just tried to buy a bunch of German scientists working on a vaccine.
In sports, we want to get our sports back. So importantly, these will be some separate calls.
Oh, okay. You won't layer those in with the farmers? You're not going to talk to the WWE and the NFL while you're on that call?
Together, by the way, lists and...
Oh, my God. If he's going to say soccer, going to say soccer.
We'll be separate. But we have to get our sports back. I'm tired of watching baseball games that are 14 years old.
Jesus Christ. What?
But I haven't actually had too much time to watch.
I'm tired of watching something I have been too busy to watch. Really? Yeah? Really? Is this working hard or is this working smart? I forget.
I would say maybe I watch one batter and then I get back to work.
One batter and then I get back to work. What was his name? What batter was that?
The
Baby batter?
NBA.
Ew.
Adam Silver. The Major League Baseball. We miss our baseball. This is baseball season right here. Rob Manfred, thank you.
See how they took a picture of him just then? Did you hear all those, just because he moved? Because how many shots can you take of this dude reading off a piece of paper? This is insane. You're going to tell me you work 24 hours a day, but you're going to spend 2 hours outside doing this.
Very much. NFL, Roger Goodell. Thank you, Roger. UFC, Dana White. Great Dana White. PGA, Jay Moynihan. LPGA, Mike.
This is fucking bonkers.
Juan. USTA, Patrick Galbraith. Major League Soccer, Don Garber. WWE, the great Vince McMahon.
Who can pronounce 3 letters in a row?
NASCAR, Lisa Kennedy.
WWE. How many E?
Thank you, Lisa. NHL, Gary Bettman. From the New England Patriots, Bob Kraft. Dallas Cowboys, Jerry.
Oh, you mean the dude who was caught in the rub and tug down the road from, really? Getting a shout out a couple months ago? Dude's life was over, and because he was caught on video getting extras at a massage parlor near Mar-a-Lago. Now all of a sudden he's getting a shout out from the podium in the middle of a pandemic.
Jones, Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, and some of the thought leaders that we're going to have, and there's.
Oh God! So this are we supposed to believe that he's picking from these groups who he's going to listen to in terms of when to open the economy?
Others that we are having, we're just waiting to hear, but everybody's saying yes, I must say.
Thought leaders. Kanye. Is Kanye on the list?
John Allison, Heritage Foundation, Kate.
Oh, gee, right. Let me get thought leaders. The Heritage Foundation. Why? Because they give you your list of judges.
Cole James, great person. Hoover Institute, Condoleezza Rice, another great person. Art.
Oh, yeah? You think she's great now?
Laffer, Steve Moore, Steve Forbes.
Laffer, as in the Laffer curve? As in something DOO economics? Bueller? Anyone?
Larry Lindsay, Catherine Reynolds, Scott Gottlieb, just spoke.
Ryan Reynolds, Gilbert Gottfried.
Scott, Jim DeMint. And Jim has been a terrific friend. Bill Haggerty and Ray Washburn. And religious leaders will be coming.
Yeah, let's see. How many, what's the variety going to be like in this group of religious leaders?
On Friday, we'll be speaking to, and we're going to have a separate list, but we have tremendous enthusiasm to meet by our great religious leaders. We have.
Yeah? Why? So they can lay hands on you again?
Incredible people, and they want to be a part. And we'll be talking about churches, and we'll be talking about opening, and we'll be talking about things that are very important to a lot of people.
We're going to be talking about both Corinthians, and we're going to talk about my favorite Bible verse.
Including me. We're going to find out how we're doing in that regard.
How are we doing in that regard? We're going to find out how we're doing in that. You're the president. How are we doing? What are you talking about?
So those are the names that we have on our list.
Oh, thank God the list is over.
They're the names that are, I think, the best and the smartest, the brightest.
Clearly not.
And they're going to give us some ideas. But we're all set. As
I'll give you some ideas.
Said the governors are going to be.
I'm going to guess that what you come up with is going to look exactly like what Gavin Newsom just came up with and Joe Biden's op-ed. I'm gonna just call it right now that if you whatever their recommendations end up being that the White House ends up putting out, they will be cribbed directly from those two things. Pin this now.
Opening up their states, they're going to declare when. They're going to know when. Some can open very, very shortly, if not almost immediately. We'll give a date, but the date's going to be in the very near future. So we'll get it open. Individual states, when the governors will be held accountable. If they need things, we'll help.
The governors will be held accountable. He said that. That's the second time. What are you talking about? They'll be allowed to open their states very, very soon, but they'll be held accountable.
Get those things, but we want them to do their testing. We want them because they're equipped to do testing. We've created incredible tests, and we've done more testing than anybody's ever done in the world right now. And we had a broken system, and now we have a great system.
There was no test for this. It's a brand new virus. They don't have enough tests. What are you talking about?
We have a system where other countries are coming.
We have a system where other countries are going, what are you doing? I need to know because we don't want to make the same mistakes.
And saying we want to get some of those tests. I want to thank Abbott because Abbott came up with the first.
Hey, Abbott!
Simpler test. The first one was rough. I think it was more of an operation than a test. The first one was for anybody that took it. It was not easy.
Tell us what it was. Tell us, you've supposedly taken both of these and you like the second one better. What happened? What'd they do?
But now we have a very simple.
He never describes what it was like.
Test with Abbott. Now we have saliva. We have lots of other things that are happening, but we have millions of tests. The governors are responsible. They have to take charge. They have to do a great job.
Yeah, or what?
And we're going to suggest that they check people through tests or other.
You're going to suggest that they check people.
Otherwise, coming into their states, and they run their states very strong. Eventually, we won't have to do that. Eventually, this will be gone. But for a while, we're going to do it. So they're going to take charge at their borders. They're going to take charge of people coming in, and maybe to.
What? What was so yesterday? Absolute power, but today, Carl,
an extent.
What? So states will have to be in charge of policing their borders to watch for cross-contamination. What are we going to have, state papers now?
Depending on what they work out with a nearby state, it may be also people leaving.
Huh?
And they'll be able to do that very shortly. We'll be announcing a date, but it'll be very short. And frankly, it'll be at a time that will be earlier than the deadline that we imposed, the end of.
Oh, so he thinks he's going to, I told you, once they thought they were at peak death, that's when he's going to start trying to relax stuff. Enjoy your second spike in May and June, folks.
April. So we think that some of the governors will be in really good shape to open up even sooner than that. We'll speak to them, but we're all set. We're counting on the governors to do a great job. Others are going to have to.
You're blaming them if this goes south, is what you're saying.
Take a longer period of time until they're in a position to say we're ready to go, and that's okay. We understand that. Some of the governors have a very tough situation, but in almost all cases, it's all starting to come down. We're very.
Almost all cases. No, you mean in the main infection areas where there's been drastic efforts to push back against this, blue states.
Proud of the job everybody's done. And if you look at the numbers, so the minimum, as portrayed, Deborah's here, Dr. Burks has been fantastic. The minimum was 100,000 deaths, and I hope to be
by August, if we completely had lockdown through May.
Substantially under the minimum, meaning we all hope, Mike, right? We all hope to be substantially under. We did the right thing because otherwise it would have been, the projections are 2
million if you did nothing.
People. The actual projection was 2.2 million people. And if you cut it in half, that would be.
I don't know what this whole cut it in half thing.
1.1 million people. That's many more.
Oh. Guys, it's math class.
Or that's
before it was we're reading the phone book, and now we're being taught how to, now it's fractions.
Double the Civil War. And if you cut that in half, you're talking 500,000 or 600,000 people. That's what we lost in the Civil War. And that's cutting it. And we're not going to,
we're not going to cut it?
Would not be acceptable. It would not be acceptable. One life isn't acceptable, but we weren't given that option.
Apparently it is, because you're talking about opening it up before we have testing. So you're saying many lives are acceptable. That's what this is. Opening before the end of April is acceptable losses. That's what you're talking about. So just say it.
So I'm confident that these respected people that I just read from the list will give us some great ideas in addition to what the governors have learned. The governors have learned a lot. I've spoken to governors.
Yeah, they've learned to ignore you.
That at the beginning it was a contentious relationship, and now it's a very friendly relationship and a really great relationship. And I'm proud to say that some of them I think are friends. In some cases they're Democrats, but I think they like me and I actually like them.
No, they know they have to kiss your ass to get anything done, and the lives of their constituents depend on it. So they're playing this game, but we'll see how nice they are after you're out of office.
I'll tell you who they are someday.
Uh-huh.
But we're all getting along, and we all want to do the right thing, and I think they're going to do a great job of leading their individual states. It'll be a beautiful thing to watch. They'll go and rely on their mayors and their local town officials. They bring it right down. And Washington.
And we'll just blame the dog catcher.
Shouldn't be doing that. We can't be
coordinating the federal response to a pandemic. Why would you be doing that? That's absurd.
Thinking about a Walmart parking lot that's 2,000 miles away.
What? You're president of the whole country. What do you mean 2,000 miles away? 2,000 miles away from what? It's not 2,000 miles away from Americans. What?
We're doing testing, but a governor of a state can and a mayor can, and right down the line. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a terrific system. And if we're unhappy with the state, we're going to let them know we're unhappy. And if they're not doing,
and then, and by unhappy, we mean too many dead people
in the job and they can't get the job done. And for some reason, things are happening that we're not going to like the numbers are heading in a wrong direction. we'll have to do something that's very serious. We'll have to maybe close them up and start all over again.
What?
But I don't think we're going to have to do that. I think the governors are going to come out at a time that, and these will be individual dates, and the governors are going to come out at a time when they're ready. Some can come out very, very shortly. And
Yeah. Open up those states, watch the stampede of people from the closed states to those places, and then see. All right.
look forward to watching that process. I think it's going to be a very beautiful process.
Beautiful process. It's going to be wonderful. There'll be ribbons cut and flowers blooming and thank you, Hez.
Our discussions will focus with the people that we're dealing with on rejuvenating the economy and always health, always health. Health and life living is number one.
Health and life living is number one. Number one, my number one priority. And living doesn't mean life. Living means parties and golf.
But the rejuvenated economy, and I think it's going to go.
Thank you, Hez.
We'll be utilizing our robust testing capacity for the governors. We'll be giving them what they need if they don't have it themselves. We hope by now they'll be able to have it themselves. We were hoping they would have had it themselves early on, but they weren't.
What? It's a pandemic. What? He's talking. Governors of individual states are speaking in a more patriotic tone towards their fellow Americans than he is right now. Like, this is basically the title of this speech is "Not My Problem."
Such great advances have been made.
The question and answer on this part, if there is one, is going to be awful.
So we'll be dealing with them on that, and they can rely on us very strongly. They're going to be
No, they can't. You just told them they can't.
Relying on us, I think, for some help, and we're there, whether it's building hospital beds, which I don't think they're going to need. You look at Javits Center, a great, great job that the Army Corps of Engineers did. FEMA got involved. We actually ended up sending our medical people. That was not a COVID-19 center, and they asked, could you do that? And then
What? It was always supposed to be one. You put in that weird thing where they couldn't.
And after we did that, it was not used very much, meaning they didn't have to use it nearly to the extent that they thought when they conceived it. It wasn't that they made a mistake. Nobody made a mistake. We built it. I'd rather have too much than too little. Err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
And
is that why you want to open before the end of the month, when everyone around you is telling you that minimum May 15th and the end of May?
It's really incredible what they did, including the two great ships. And I just want to thank a lot of really great people, a lot of great politicians. And again, we're going to be...
I got a list of them right here. Let me start. Ziggy Van Dugel from Cetracorp and Goldman Sachs. They didn't get a shout out first time, right? So I got to go back and visit them. And
announcing the political list tomorrow.
You were supposed to put the list out today, but the list leaked and everybody was embarrassed by it. So you have to come up with a whole new group of people, and everybody's saying no because they don't want to be on this when it fails. Because if we open too early, everybody you name on that list is going to be the reason why we open too early. Who is signing up to be on that list that isn't already being forced into it by the administration?
And on there, we're going to have a lot of senators. And
Deutsche Bank's not an American company. That's the only reason he didn't name it.
We're going to be having a meeting with the governors probably on Thursday, a meeting
probably
by teleconference, and a lot of things will be discussed and some of the details will be discussed. But we want them to do an incredible job of running the
do we?
States. I think they'll do an incredible job too. After having gotten to know so many of them, I think each one of them will do an incredible job. And again, the federal government is there. We have ventilators if they need them. We have beds if they need them. We have hospitals if they need them. We have a testing capacity that's now second to none, where, again, other countries are...
We have more cases than anybody else.
...calling us. Countries that you thought were doing well are calling us for help on testing.
No, they're not. They're talking to those companies. They're not talking to you.
So we're there to help. And
yeah, we're good, man. Thanks. Stand down.
That, if you have a few questions, we'll take them.
God.
And
oh, no. I thought he was going to walk out. I honestly didn't think after yesterday he was going to take questions and they were going to do it out in the Rose Garden so he could give a speech, have a couple of people, and then just split. But yeah.
If not, that would be okay too.
Yeah, I agree. Finally, I'm in agreement.
Yeah, go ahead, please, Jeff.
Mr. President, 2 questions. First, on your announcement about the WHO, I understand your grievances with them, but can you address why it is the correct time to do this now in the middle of the
Well, we're going to be dealing with countries and we're going to be dealing with leaders of different parts of the world. We spend $500 million a year. We have for many years, far more than anybody else, including China. And
why China in this? Like,
I mean, look, I read off a long list of problems that we have, and we've had problems with them for years. It doesn't matter. We're looking at.
It's funny because we didn't have these issues when other presidents were in charge with the WHO.
Term of 60 to 90 days. We're doing a very thorough investigation right now as we speak. But this should have been done by previous administrations.
Really? Because they didn't have this problem. They beat back H1N1 without having to shut down the economy.
A long time ago.
Ebola, same thing. We brought people with Ebola into the country, still managed to keep it from spreading.
And when you look at the mistakes that were made, all of the mistakes that were made.
Yeah, one of them was taking their advice over our own intelligence and people in your administration who had put out memos saying that this is going to cost 150,000 lives and that you ignored. But please.
It's just something we have to look at. And it is very China-centric. I told that to President Xi. I said the World Health Organization is very China-centric, meaning...
Something I heard from Hannity.
Whatever it is, China was always right. You can't do that. Can't do that. Not right. And we spend, and again, it's not a question of money, but when we're spending...
Apparently it is.
$500...
If it's not a matter of money, then who cares how much we spend or they spend?
$1 million. And...
It's not a matter of money, but this is how much we spend.
China's spending 38 million, 34 million, 40 million, 42 million in a case. It's, again, not money, but it's not right. So we'll see. This is an evaluation period, but in the meantime, we're putting a hold on all funds going to World Health. We will be able to take that money and channel it to the areas that most need it.
Like the post office.
And that's another way of doing it, but we have not been treated properly.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
Mr.
please.
President, you mentioned that you're going to be speaking with all the governors
Yes.
tomorrow, make recommendations.
On probably Thursday.
On Thursday.
On probably Thursday. You're the president. I thought the president had total power, but he apparently doesn't have total power to schedule a conference call.
They don't listen to you or take your advice or obey you. Will you consider taking away their federal funding?
I don't want to say that. They'll listen. They'll be fine. I think we're going to have a good relationship.
You misunderstand. You see, he's going to listen to what the governors are planning on doing and then pretend it was his idea. So no one's going to be fighting with him about when they're going to open their states or not, because he's just going to do whatever they say and claim it as his own. And they're going to ignore that and just let him do it, because why the shit do you need the hassle?
Need the federal government, not only for funding, and I'm not saying take it away, but they need it for advice. They'll need maybe equipment that we have. We have a tremendous stockpile that we're in the process.
So if they open too early or they don't stay open, you're going to deny them ventilators as punishment? That's the strategy? Because I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know.
Completing, we're in a very good position. Again, the cupboard was bare when I got here.
You've been president for 3.5 years. Everything is your responsibility.
Nobody ever thought a thing, in all fairness to previous administrations, nobody ever thought anything like this was going to happen.
Yeah, they did. They showed you how it could happen. They ran a war game that showed you exactly how it would happen. You guys ignored it. Why is lack of imagination on the part of other people an excuse for someone to not do the baseline of their job?
But it did happen. No, the governors will be very, very respectful of the presidency. Again, this isn't me. This is the presidency.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, because every other president would just order people against the safety recommendations of their own health organizations back to work. Like, I don't know, Xi Jinping?
the presidency has such a great importance in terms of what we're doing.
So if they don't open up and go back to work and possibly kill their citizens, they're undermining the structure of our government.
You can talk about Constitution. You can talk about
Yes, I can. Can you?
federalism. You can talk about whatever you want. But
Yeah. Explain federalism to everyone. Go ahead. We'll wait.
the best way, I'm talking now from a managerial standpoint, is to let individual governors run individual states and come to us if they have difficulty, and we will help them.
And if they don't open up, you'll deny them ventilators.
John?
You talk about having testing and tracing equipment and the facility for that in place to open up the government. Dr. Fauci said this morning that critical testing and tracing ability does not currently exist.
Well, I don't know. Look, I don't know.
I don't know what he says. I don't know what Fauci says. I don't even know this guy. He used to get coffee for us. He's probably a Democrat if you really think about it. I don't know. We got enough. We have plenty of testing. We're testing more than anyone else in the world, which is far less than we need. But
My question is,
I don't know what he said. It's not like I see him every day.
My question is, will it exist by May 1st?
The individual governors have testing. The individual governors.
No, they don't.
We have many forms of testing, and new testing is being developed.
Yeah, being developed does not mean implemented currently. Does he not know which direction a clock goes?
Our country has to get open, and it will.
Open isn't rife with contagion.
Get open, and it'll get open safely and hopefully quickly. Some areas quicker than other areas, but there's tremendous testing, and the governors will use whatever testing is necessary. And if they're not satisfied with their testing, they shouldn't open, but they'll use whatever testing is necessary.
So, okay. So if they can't get enough tests, it's the state's fault. And if they don't open, we might deny them other stuff later. What?
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Back to the WHO. Will you support the organization again if Tedros is immediately replaced, or do you want to see him step down as possible reform?
Well, we're doing an investigation. I don't know the gentleman, but I know there have been problems, and it's been very unfair to the United States, just like the World Trade Organization has been very, very unfair, and now they're coming into line. When they consider China a developing nation, and because China's a developing nation, they take massive advantage of the United States. Why didn't other...
Oh my God, why are we talking about trade again now? What does this have to do with whether the leader of the World Health... Does he think the World Health Organization, the World Trade Organization are UN bodies run by the same people? Is that what he thinks?
President, stop this. I've been talking about it from the day I got in.
Yeah, and this is a whole new problem. And you didn't solve that, by the way. The $7.5 billion that you won in the case for Airbus is started a tariff war with the EU.
Looking at that very, very strongly. World Trade, So I have a problem with World Health and
World Trade Organization case was a protectionist to protect Boeing.
Both of them.
Against Airbus.
I'm not sure which is worse. You want to know the truth, but we'll figure it out. Okay.
Do you know the difference? Let's start there. Do you know that they aren't the same people?
Go ahead.
You think there's a world government and the World Trade Organization, the World Health Organization, like?
Thank you, Mr. President. You were just criticizing the WHO for praising China as transparent, but you were saying many of the same things about China just a couple of months ago. So, I mean, how do you square your decision to...
Well, I did a trade deal with China, where China's supposed to be spending $250 billion in our country. We're going to be watching.
So it was okay that I praised China and said they were doing plenty because I was doing a trade deal that was going to sell a bunch of goods. It was sales, folks. It's sales. I'm trying to move a lemon. Okay, I'm trying to get it off the lot. I get that off my sheet. It doesn't matter. Okay, I don't care if it blows up down the road. That's not important. And I don't care if I'm selling it to a drunk driver who's going to drive over a bunch of kids. That's not my problem. I got to move vehicles.
Very much to see. Now, it got a little bit waylaid by the virus. But look, I'd love to have a good relationship with China. But if you look, and we made a phenomenal deal. China has paid, because of me, China has paid us tens of billions of dollars over the course of a very short period of time. Billions of it. Some of that money has been spent to farmers where they were targeted by China. We cannot let that happen. We can't let that happen.
So it's okay, is what you're saying. So the World Health Organization praising China to try to get access, because that's part of getting anything done in there. If you don't kiss ass, you don't get into China. But if you do it to sell goods, then that's why oh my God.
So we ended up signing a very good trade deal. Now I want
What does this have to do with anything?
to see if China lives up to it. I know President Xi. I think he will live up to it. If he doesn't live up to it, that will be okay too, because
It's not about the trade deal. He was asking you why you were praising their transparency in the work that they did. Quote, China has been working very hard to contain the coronavirus. The United States greatly appreciates their efforts and transparency. It will all work out well. In particular, on behalf of the American people, I want to thank President Xi. Trump posted on Twitter in January.
very, very good alternatives.
I'm just going to skip over and
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Today, 600,000 cases, 25,000 deaths. I know you want to blame the WHO, but I've spoken to hundreds of people across the country in the last few weeks who say they still can't get tested, and that they aren't social distancing because
So
they.
the governors,
So
Excuse me.
they aren't.
Excuse me. I know your question. You ready? The governors are supposed to do testing. It's up to the governors. Go.
literally, this guy cannot wait to get out the door. How is this presidential? How is this leadership? It's not my fault. It's on the governors.
Please.
Mr. President, we
Go ahead,
can
please.
just get back.
Quiet. Quiet.
If we could just
Quiet.
get back to May 1.
They are not,
Mr. President,
they are
how many-
following your lead, that they are not social
The
distancing.
governors are doing the testing. It's now not up, and it hasn't been up to the federal government. Go ahead.
Mr. President,
The
I have a
question
quick
is about
follow on the
social
WHO, but
distancing, sir.
if
The
May
question
1,
I told them when they put this guy here, it's nothing but trouble. He's a showboat. If you keep talking, I'll leave, and you can have it out with the rest of these people.
Oh, God, please walk out. This is great. He's asking you about social distancing, and a bunch of these states aren't participating in it.
If you keep talking, I'm
Dude, keep it up.
going to leave, and you can have it out with.
Second day in a row, like, of reporters not taking his bullshit anymore. This is kind of glorious.
Just a loudmouth. Go ahead.
if you
Just a loudmouth. Answer the question.
if you could kind of clarify, are you
Oh, he's mad now. It's great. This is going to affect all the rest of the questions, isn't it?
lifting your slow the spread before the
No.
May 1 deadline?
No,
and then,
I'm
and
not
then,
at
how,
all.
and then
No.
how many
The
states?
governors are going to be running their individual states. Some of them will say, no, I can't open now. And some of them may last longer than we even would think. Others will say, I can. You can go. I don't want to mention states, but there are numerous states that are in great shape right now.
They're not in great shape. They have no testing. They don't know they're in great shape. They're where we were with Washington State when you were saying in January, we had no cases and no deaths and no deaths and no cases. So I want to shut the country down. That's where all these governors are with their states. This is frigging nuts.
They're viewing the rest of the country like we don't even believe this is happening. We have a lot of those states.
We have a lot of those states. I don't even believe it. Can you believe we're America?
To open practically now. I mean, they would be open now. We're going to let them open sooner than the date. We're going to pick a date. We're going to get a date that's good, but it's going to be very, very soon, sooner than the end of the month. But there are many states out there that are
He's going to open Florida so he can go down there and golf and show everybody.
looking at this, and they're reviewing it, and they're saying, we shouldn't be even included in this. You know, there are some that want to open up almost now.
Yeah, they're idiots.
Now, if we disagree with it, we're not going to let them open. We're not
You don't have a choice. You don't have total power.
going to let them open. If some governor said, has a lot of problems, a lot of cases, a lot of death, and they want to open early, we're not going to let it happen. So with it
You don't have a choice. You just said it's up to them.
to watch, with it
And then you're going to blame them if they open too early.
to help. But we're
It's like the worst trust game in the world. No, totally. I'm standing here. I'll catch you. Just fall. Don't look back. Those spikes are for somebody else.
also there to be critics. And on testing, very important, we've always wanted the states to do the testing. We're now providing great testing, but the state has to provide the great testing.
Jesus Christ. This dude wants it to be anybody's job but his.
The state has to provide the ventilators, but they didn't do that. So
Jesus.
we ended up going into the ventilator business, essentially, and we've made tens of thousands of ventilators, and we solved a big problem for the states. But we want them to do the testing.
They ordered their own. You solved that. So you're why Oregon gave 140 ventilators to New York.
We are there to help. Yeah, please.
I have two questions, or I have a question on the
One
governor.
question, just one.
Well, I have a question
Yeah, he hasn't got time for two.
on the governor. So first, can I follow up on Jordan's
One question. Go
Can I
ahead.
follow up on Jordan's question? Do you
Go ahead.
want to walk back where you did praise China in January for being transparent about the
I'm always
coronavirus?
respectful of China. I'm respectful of other countries. Why wouldn't I be respectful of China? In the meantime, China's paid us nothing in your last administration, nothing in any previous.
What do you talk to Walmart? Oh my God, what is this? You thank them for their transparency.
Administration. They paid us tens of billions of dollars because of what we've done.
We lose a couple of citizens. I mean, it's worth it, folks. I mean, what is the price of a human life? I'll take 25,000 dead Americans for a $258 billion trade deal. Come on, that isn't actually in place.
The trade deal we have, they have to give us $250 billion in purchases. Let's see if they do that. And
yeah, they haven't done it yet, but you know, what's 25,000 Americans and 500,000 cases?
Also paying us 25% on $250 billion in tariffs. So we're taking in, wait a minute, we're taking in billions of dollars for China. From China, they never paid us 10 cents. That's a great thing. Now, if they don't produce, or if we find out bad things.
He's not listening to this question at all. Like, it's one thing to like subvert the whole thing.
We're not going to be happy, but
we're not going to be happy
right now, and we're doing that. That's what we're doing. Look, we have
yeah, explain it. Here we go.
An investigation underway. We're paying almost $500 million. We have an investigation underway.
Of the WHO. Why did you say in January that you appreciate the transparency and clarity of China and specifically President Xi Jinping?
On the World Health Organization. We will find out exactly what went on.
Yes, we will.
And we may be satisfied that it can be remedied, and we may be satisfied that it's so bad that it can't be remedied. And if it can't, we're going to go a different route.
My question, you're criticizing the WHO for praising China for being transparent, but you also praise China for being transparent.
I don't talk about China's transparency.
January,
Well, you know, if I'm so good to China, how come I was the only person, the only leader of a country that closed our borders tightly against China? And by the way, when I closed our border, that was...
Everybody told me that I was xenophobic and that it was racist, and everybody apologizes to me, even though it had already gotten into the country and I wasn't contact tracing, and that's what they were worried about.
Long ahead of what anybody, you can ask anybody that was in the room.
No, Pakistan had already shut their borders and reopened them.
21 people. I was the one person that wanted to do it. Deborah can tell you that better than anybody. I was the one person that wanted to do it. You know,
because everybody was like, it's too late. We have to do contact tracing. He's like, nah, just close the border and forget about it. I don't want to do contact tracing. Let's just shut the border. How do you mean shut the border? Well, 30,000 people a day can come in.
Why? Because I don't believe everything I hear.
That's all right. All right, that's a campaign slogan.
And and if we didn't close our border early, very early, long before the kind of dates you're talking about, we would have had thousands and probably hundreds of thousands more deaths. Please.
I'm talking about how
Please, that's enough. Thank you.
He's not going to answer that question.
Last week you said that you would have data in the coming days about the coronavirus's disproportionate impact on Black Americans.
Yes, that's being worked on very strongly.
When will we have that?
I would say within 2 weeks, and it's being worked on.
Within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks.
Deborah, we're working on that very strongly. Okay, CDC is working, but we're getting reports on that. Yeah, please, go ahead. No, in the back, yeah.
Sorry, Mr. President. You're talking about reopening parts of the country by the end of the month, and if you do that, and as a result, you see a spike in cases in those areas.
We may not, but we may not. You know, some countries haven't, some countries haven't. I'm watching other countries. I'm studying other countries as they open. I mean, I don't want to go into names because for some it would be a little bit embarrassing. But I'm studying other countries as we go along.
What numbers? They're all posted daily. We know the cases. We know the deaths. You know where we don't know the deaths, actually? In the United States, because, for example, in the U.S. numbers that the CDC is putting out, we're not counting people who die in senior care facilities. Why is that? Because it would put the number over 30,000 already?
So on that, we have looked at every country that's opened, some successfully, some okay. No total disaster, but some okay. And some have to go back to the hot spot and fix the hot spot. We think we're going to do it very successfully. Again, we have one country, but we have lots of different pieces.
Yeah, exactly. But we're all connected. So if you open one area and they've got a few cases and they have no idea how many they have, and those people can travel and do whatever freely, they're going to spread it to everywhere else.
The puzzle. We have beautiful pieces, beautiful states with capable governors. They know when it's time to open, and we don't want to put pressure on anybody. I'm not going to put any pressure on any governor to open.
Yesterday, he had total power. That's what this is. This is him flailing about that.
I'm going to say to Governor Cuomo, you got to open within 7 days. I want him to take his time, do it right, and then open New York. I'm not putting any pressure on the governors. Some of them don't need pressure or not pressure. I mean, they're ready to.
They'll open and we won't shut them down.
They're ready to go. And that's a good thing. So we'll open it up in beautiful little pieces as it comes.
Beautiful little pieces. The Donald Trump story.
Please go ahead.
Beautiful. We're all beautiful little pieces now. We're all Trump's little beautiful pieces. We're all doing a fantastic job.
Yes, just a quick question. You spoke about Governor Cuomo. Just wondering if you have any thoughts on some of his remarks from earlier today where he basically...
Oh, don't do it. We don't pick the fight. You're fired.
Said that were New York to be pressured to be open, it would cause a constitutional crisis. And he basically said that you declared yourself King Trump. So I'm wondering if you heard those thoughts.
I declared myself as king. You know, I heard he said that, but I didn't see the remarks. But he understands how we helped.
I heard he say that, but I didn't see the remarks.
He needed help. We gave him 2,900 hospital beds. He didn't use them. We gave him a
He didn't use them.
Yep, he didn't use them. And I'm not saying, but I'm saying that's good because you know what? That means he didn't need them. But we said it was too much, but we wanted to err. We said, err on the side of caution, as I said.
Oh, did you?
We said, look.
They got people doubling up on ventilators? But yeah, fine.
But if you do, we're going to have them built. And the Army Corps of Engineers did a fantastic job. And the U.S. Navy did a fantastic job. But we moved a ship that was not meant for COVID, and we had it redesigned for COVID. But
redesigned for COVID. What'd you do? Paint the logo on the side of it or something? Is that what you did?
It still didn't have very many people going in. Now, we are...
Hold on, pause. I have a cat coming in the room. 1 second. Do we have cats? Hi, cats. You guys, thank you. Thank you, cats. There's literally a cat coming in the room.
We'll get along just fine. He understands. We'll get along just fine, please.
Mr. President, how do you assure workers in states that may reopen that are fearful about going back to work?
It'll be your governor's fault. You know, if your state reopens and you die, it's your governor's fault. I mean, that's it.
You're getting sick.
Talk up, please, louder.
What's your assurance to workers who are...
Sorry, there's too many ambulances carrying COVID cases in Washington, D.C. right now for me to be able to hear you clearly. But everything is fine.
to go back to work, but are fearful of doing so?
Well, that's going to be up to the governors. The governors are going to want to make sure everything's safe. Now, I think that companies can do testing on a maybe weekly basis. You don't have to do it every day with the same worker, but they can do testing. They could do temperature gauges. They could do a lot of different things. And, you know, we're only talking about for a period of time. You know, eventually we want to get back to where we were. We want people actually sitting next to each other in ball games eventually.
Eventually, really? Do we? Yeah, we know.
You know, we're not going to rip out every other seat in baseball stadiums and football stadiums. We want to go back to where we were. I want people to understand that.
Yeah, then work on contact tracing, work on testing, and work on antibody tests. And talk about the strategy to implement that as soon as possible. Dummy.
We're not going to be like the...
I'm sorry, my bad. Who am I to tell you how to do your job? I'm just a lowly citizen. You're the president of the United States. Go back to reading a list of the CEOs of every company in the country.
You are. We have 300 reporters in the back that want to sit. Look at this, the way this looks. I don't even like the way it looks, although...
Oh, God. Here it comes.
I have a lot fewer reporters. That's okay with me. But look at the way this looks. I've never seen anything, John. I've never seen anything quite like it. But there are a lot of people. We don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this.
Hold on. You guys hear that? Murph? Are you trapped? Murph? You need to get out? Hold on. I'll show you guys Murphy. Hold on. Are you yeah, you want out? Hello. Hello, buddy. You can't just come in here and then want out of the room and everybody wants to see you. I know. You were in the closet. Why were you in the closet? What were you up to? You were. You did not. That's terrible. In the closet? All right, you can leave. Scratchy scratches. But you need scratches first. Clearly. Look at this beautiful cat. I know. Yeah? You have something to say? Oh, you don't like him either? All right. I know. Yeah, I know. Here you go. There you go. Thank you. Thanks very much. Okay, bye. Get your tail out of the door. There you go. You can't come back in. Get out of here. He's like, I want out. And I want back in. All right. Hold on. I'm blocking the door. This is, yeah. All right. It's fine. That's Murphy, everybody. Yep.
Actually, we're going back where restaurants that had 150 seats are going to have 150 seats, not 50 seats, because they can't make it at 50 seats. But more importantly, the atmosphere is even better. We have to get used to it. We have to get used to it. I don't know that people are going to be shaking hands as readily. Some will. I said to some of the hospital people today, so will people be shaking hands again? And I must say, I was a little surprised. Most of them said probably.
We lived through the Spanish flu, the H1N1, AIDS. Like, people are going to be shaking hands again. They're going to be washing their hands more often for a little while, but things are going to go back to relative normal even past this. That's how these things shake out. It just might take a while. The question is, can we hang on while it occurs during the 9 months it will take? And will we have a strategy in place 9 months from now when the second resurgence comes? If this is actually seasonal, we have to be prepared for that. I mean, I'm just quoting Fauci.
Some kind of a thing to it. I was never a big handshaker, but when I...
Yeah, you used to make some of Epstein's girls wear rubber gloves, I remember.
And for politics, I said, I think I better start shaking people's hands. Go ahead, John.
Mr. President, a couple of financial questions, if I...
We're back to John already, but we're skipping the loudmouth in the back. Did they walk him out?
Good. Larry Kudlow said this morning that at the current run rate, the Paycheck Protection money will run out very soon. The plan to re-up it is stalled in Congress. What can you do as president to try to move that forward?
Well, we're trying to get it done. The problem is the Democrats want to put all sorts of things. Last time they put Kennedy Center in. I hated putting Kennedy Center in. I have great respect for Kennedy Center.
That wasn't in the Paycheck Protection program. That was in the $2.2 trillion stimulus bill, because these institutions will get flatlined, and it's in D.C. D.C. doesn't have statehood. They can't cover their own things. New York can use some of the federal money to protect Broadway, for example. Washington, D.C. doesn't have the ability to do that.
I hated putting it in the bill because it's just not appropriate, right? But they wanted it in for whatever reason. They had their own political reason. And John, I said, watch the way that blows up, and it blew up. I think it blew up in their face. We want to take care
It didn't. Nobody cared.
of our workers. We'll worry about other things and other pet projects of Democrats and also Republicans later. But it's been a tremendously successful program. I think you see it. The banks have stepped up, hundreds of thousands of loan applications approved. Money is going out. It's been a tremendous program.
No.
Really, it's been. And obviously, it was at a point where we're almost, the money will be expired, and we could use a refill for the workers. We want to be able to make
We've run out of money before anybody's even gotten any of it.
sure that small businesses stay open, John. And I think that'll happen. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, today California's governor set out a list of 6 criteria for real.
Yeah, we know. That's why Trump is out here saying, I'm going to announce what I'm going to do.
The economy there. Did he consult with you on that? And also, you said earlier that there were as many as 20 states that could reopen their economies as early as May 1st. Could you list some of
No,
those?
I didn't say all of them by May 1st, but there are 20 states. Actually, I was given a number. 29 states are in very, very good shape. I don't want to say whether or not the governor spoke with me about that, but we've had a very good relationship, Gavin Newsom, and very, very good relationship. Yeah, in the back. Go ahead,
Mr.
please.
President, thank you very much.
No. So the answer is no.
One is from a
One
person
question.
who can't- But the person who can't be here, and so I.
Who cares? If you can't be here, that's too bad, you know, right?
It's because of social distancing. They're all outside. That's the whole point. Who cares?
All right. Well, one question that I have is about from the United Nations, an economist, Maximo Torero, says that there's a danger that the food supply could be interrupted during this pandemic, and I wanted to know what you're going to do about that.
Well, I think our farmers are incredible. They're
Okay. Well, okay, cool. Farmers are incredible, so the food supply thing, yeah.
producing levels of food like just unbelievable.
Yeah, but packaging plants like the one in Denver had a problem. You thought the issue with Denver was something in the city, not with the packaging plant. You didn't understand that?
Transportation, that's one of the reasons I have the transportation people on the line tomorrow for the delivery of the food. No, we're doing phenomenally with the food, and I will say the stores, Kroger and Walmart, which does a lot of the food, and many of
They do a lot of the food.
stores, they seem to be in
That's where you get a lot of the food, people.
Very good.
Kroger and Walmart.
but I haven't heard that at all. We're going to be very strong on food supply. Okay, how about one more question? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, please, just one more.
Yes, the death projections that you mentioned earlier are based on full social distancing until the end of May.
Yeah.
So if you ease up on these guidelines now, how many more Americans do you think
Well,
are
I'm
gonna
not
die?
easing up. First of all, we'll have guide.
I'm not easing up. The governors are easing up, and if it fails, it's their fault. Get it? Got it? Good.
Even for the states that open, and there'll be guidelines. But we will not have any problem with that. Your question's a very interesting question, but the states that are opening are not states which will have a problem with that. Plus, they will have to adhere to guidelines until a certain point into the future when the enemy is vanquished.
Vanquished.
They don't have a problem now is because of social distancing.
And because they don't have testing, they have no idea how many asymptomatic carriers they have.
No, the reason they don't have is partially, and some of that will stay in effect. Much of it will stay in effect for a period of time. But the reason also is they're different kinds of states.
Oh, okay. So red states and blue states, I see.
Lots of room. They have fewer people, and they have lots of room.
Yeah, and small towns where one person interacts with every other person in an entire town within a week.
That's one of the primary reasons. I want to thank you all very much. So a lot of positive things are happening. We're going to have some very strong recommendations.
It's very powerful.
For the governors. We're going to.
And notice there was no list of people today that are actually on the panel. He just name dropped a bunch of people that he's going to be having phone calls with to give you the illusion that they're on his Reopening America Council.
With the governors are going to do a good job. And if they don't do a good job, we're going to come down on them very hard. We'll have no other.
If they don't do a good job, we're going to leave it up to them. Holy shit. By the way, thanks guys for watching today, and thanks for supporting in the super chats and filling the little tip mug right there. That I appreciate that. It's doing pretty well today. Like and subscribe to the show and to the channel. Helps me out immensely, especially on the YouTube side of things. I've cut off Facebook entirely, so we're down to 3 channels on here. But what most of the show is happens on YouTube, and of course I game on Twitch if you want to follow on there. And if you want to support the show going forward, patreon.com/HalSparks. It's super easy, and pretty much my other jobs have been made illegal right now, so this is it. Hi.
Joyce, thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.
On testing, how on earth are we going to get to a point where we have millions and millions of tests where workers can be tested every day when they go to work?
Holy smokes. Was that pathetic? Like, honest to God. That, like, to me, I mean, thank you so much, Christine F. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. Thanks. I was trying. I have to set up my keyboard in a much more convenient space, but I've got 2 keyboards running for just typing. I need a wider, I'm starting to feel really for oh, thank you. I heard that, but I didn't see who it was. Oh, that's Christine F's. Thank you so much. Thanks, Milkman Norm, for the super chat, and Hez and Georgina Poole, beg your pardon. Catherine Hildebrand, thank you. And Kurt and Arlene and Natalie, I appreciate that. And thanks for the follow, No 74 Britain. Joe Carter, thank you. Hal, you are the best leader. Oh, that's so sweet. Stephen Ripple, thank you so much. Christina F. Kurt Gao, thank you. Joyce Kehoe. Hal Vickery, thank you, sir. Carl Jacobson, thank you. And Neil. You guys, oh, I want to see if something works real quick. Hold on. Let's see. And did that work? Yeah. Let's see. This might work. Let me see 1 second. So far, I'm not impressed. Nope. Okay, it's just a picture. All right. I'll work on it. I got to work on the details of it. So, hold on. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go fix dinner for everybody. We managed to get out of here a little earlier today, so congratulations to all of us. We soldiered through. I like, the nuttiness of this one is off the chart. It's just going to get worse, by the way. I'm actually kind of looking forward to tomorrow, if only for the reporters who are just sick and tired of playing Trump's game, you know? Thank you, Richard Custer. We're just, we'll deal with this. As long as he puts this nonsense on the screen, that's what I'll be here. Thanks, Noel. Cheers. Oh, did I? Wait. Can't stop lying. What'd you say back there? Did I miss that? Oh. Yeah, always reach out and let your friends and family know that you're thinking about them right now. This is a very critical time. Trish's Pets, Hal, I need a hug. We all need hugs. We need to start passing hugs around when this is over. We're not gonna do a lot of handshaking when this goes up because everybody's gonna be so busy hugging everyone else. By the way, Scott Lowell is. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Scott Lowell is posting a thing on the Queer as Folk get together that's on May 1st. Let's see if I can find the virtual reunion. It's it's May 20th, or sorry, the 20th anniversary. It's on May 1st, 11 a.m. Pacific time is when it's going to start. And Scott Lowell will post about it. I'm going to retweet that right now. So May 1st, we got that to look forward to. And then, just in case anybody thought would question me and think that I'm full of beans, I'm going to try and, let's see if this page will come up. It's got to be on here. Hold on. close this, bring this guy up. And see if that'll do it. I think it has to be in the same display thing. But there's a... Let's see, we'll rotate this one. That does not want to do it. I'll find it. Okay. There it is. There we go. That's how we do it. This is how we do it. Boom, boom. So, put this on here. Whoops. Get out of here. Plus, plus, plus. There you go. Now I can switch. Here you go. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Barbara. Thank you guys for becoming patrons. I greatly appreciate that. Our goal is 500. We're over 200 now because of you guys, and I appreciate it more than you know. So this is from the article I was talking about. This is CNBC, January 24th. Trump thanks Xi Jinping for handling of coronavirus. Here's the quote. China's been working very hard to contain the virus, Trump wrote in post on Twitter. The United States greatly appreciates their efforts and transparency. It will all work out well. In particular, on behalf of the American people, I want to thank President Xi. In particular. In an interview on Wednesday, Trump said he believed the virus was under control. He also had confidence in the Chinese government to be transparent. We have it under control. It's going to be just fine. So just in case anybody thought, that wasn't, enjoy that when he got all mad and wouldn't answer. That's what he was talking. That's what he was being asked about. There she blows. So, ta-da! Yeah, that part of it is just stunning. What do you say about the WHO back then, Hal? Let's see. I don't know that he said anything. Trump on WHO. It'll probably say stuff, January. Let's see. WHO warned of transmission risk in January despite Trump claims. That's from the Guardian, and they're behind a paywall. Trump blocked coronavirus preparedness in January. This is from Fresh Air. Hold on, I'll see if I can bring this one up as well. Yeah, here we go. Here you go. This is from Shannon Watts's thing. Here we go. NPR source, Donald Trump blocked coronavirus testing preparedness in January to try and keep infection figures low and in turn enhance his re-election odds. That's working out well, isn't it? A previous tweet of this quote did not make it adequately clear that it is Trump who did not push for adequate testing. It is Trump who did not push for adequate testing, not Secretary of Health and Human Services Azar. Here's the quote for context. So we'll open this up. There we go. In the case of Alex Azar, he did go to the president in January. He did push past resistance from the president's political aides to warn the president the new coronavirus would be a major problem. There were aides around Trump. Kellyanne Conway had some skepticism at times that this was something that needed to be a presidential priority. But at the same time, Secretary Azar has not always given the president the worst case scenario of what could happen. My understanding is President Trump, did not push to do aggressive additional testing in recent weeks. And that's partly because more testing might have led to more cases being discovered of coronavirus outbreak. And the president had made clear the lower numbers on coronavirus, the better for the president, the better his potential re-election this fall. Yeah, so Oops, why did it not transfer? Oh, I was reading this out loud. You know, why does it not want to see it? There's something about that. I think it has to be one page or it gets weird. Let's do this guy. See if this comes up. Beg your pardon. Still learning how to make sure that this visually shows what I want it to show, and then so yeah, Safari. I don't want that. I want this. That. Cancel. There we go. I have to shut the other Safari pages. It's very confusing. Close those pages. Then we'll see. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then we'll make your happy happy. Nope, it doesn't want to play to the Twitter page. But anyways, what I read is what is there. I'll retweet that as well. There we go. I'll go back to this other thing, intermission, so I can see you guys. Rather watch that than him. Yeah, I was just reading from a Twitter page. Anyways, I'm going to sign off since we got out of here a little bit earlier and continue to work on getting stuff to work. Thank you, Can't Stop Lying, for your support and everything. And I want to try and find a way to help some of our regulars in there become moderators in the Restream chat. I'm going to work on that somehow. Because that would help as well, especially if I start putting this on the air or whatever. But yeah, so anybody, oh, and thanks Adam Carey for the super chat as well as Christina. You guys, the alert box should be louder. I thought we lost a little sound on that one. Let's see if that goes to this guy. Nope, different page. Hold on, let's see if I can do this too. I'm going to work on maybe grabbing, it might be best if I'm able to grab pages from another computer on the same network. Is a possibility. I'm going to figure out how to work that. That'll happen. Yeah, that's my next tweak. So that's what I'm going to work on in the next little bit. But in the meantime, I adore you guys. I want you to take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And and I will see you guys next time. You are fantastic. Don't let anybody tell you different. And I will continue to try and work on the rest of this. So take care of yourselves, everybody. We'll see you next time. You're wicked and fun, and it's so great. Thanks for everybody. Much love to Summer, too, brother. Go cook her some grub. That's exactly it. That's what I'm going to do. Can't stop lying. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. I will see you again very, very soon. I'll be gaming later, and I'm going to try and have a guest on. I'm still working out the kinks on that, but I think it'll work. So cross your fingers. Sorry about the echo in the beginning. I'm also working on that. I'll tweak and continue to make the show better for you guys because I adore you, and I will see you guys soon. You're fantastic. And there you go. And that's I need a theme song to play out or something like that at the end. Bye.